All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 13 of the Kickout Crew. Glad that you could join us today. Thank you for all the positive feedback from our previous episode. Really enjoyed it. Amy is a blast and a treasure. So great to have her on. My name is James Elcorai. I'm kind of the one kicking off this Kickout Crew episode. But we actually have a special guest today. So it's not about all of us. It's about our friend Lindsey. So Lindsey, introduce yourself. Take it away.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on. I'm very excited. So I am Lindsey. I'm from Baltimore. I am the one who makes all the cupcakes. So it's pretty much how people know me now, which is really fun. So I'm super excited to meet everybody in Chicago in 6 weeks or something like that. It's coming up. So I'm excited.
Nice. I like it. I'm ready for Chicago too. Obviously, tickets went on sale recently, I guess, by the time you hear this. But thank you for joining us, Lindsey, as always. But it's enough about that. We're gonna kick it on out to Brad, see how Brad's doing. So, how you doing, Brad? How's your week been?
It's been a week for sure. Been a week. Normally, I go into one of my stories, but we're not going to do that today. We got a lot to cover, but I'm going to mention some positivity today. Okay. 4 months after suffering from a broken neck during a tag team match, Big E addressed his ongoing recovery. Speaking to ESPN's Mark Raimondi on Wednesday, Big E noted he's grateful after doctors told him he is expected to make a full recovery from his injury. Now, if you remember, Big E was hurt his neck from an awkward, what would you call that? Suplex on outside of the ring from Ridge Holland, and broke his neck. We weren't sure what was going to happen. It's going to take him a full year though to recover, but he's expected to make a full recovery. And we hadn't been hearing a whole lot about this. So as much as positive as Big E is, we hadn't been hearing a whole lot of whether or not he was going to recover or not. It's going to be a long road, but it looks like he's going to make it, from what the doctors say, a full recovery. And I just wanted to say that is really great news for a really great guy.
For real.
Amen.
Can't wait till he comes back. Can you imagine that intro when he does whatever city it is? And man, people are going to go fucking bananas. But thanks, Brad. Thanks for a little tidbit. I'm going to kick it over to Mike. Mike, how's your week been, man?
My week's going good. Been working on a little something. It's been going real good for me for that. Besides that, just another little work week. But I got a quick question I'm going to ask Brad this question.
Oh, great.
So you got a new restaurant that opens up down the road from you. Real nice restaurant. You go there and you eat, and before you can even pay your bill, you got waterfall shits. You go in there, take it back, you come out, and you talk to the manager about it, and he says, you know what, that's normal. You got to eat here for 8 months before you can start going right. You got to get immune to the food. Would you go there?
Are we talking about Skyline Chili?
We are definitely talking about Skyline Chili. Give a little to Justin out there.
No, I don't want to gain an immunity from food. No food is worth it for 8 months. Definitely not. So I don't get it either. But I've definitely heard that story.
It's definitely going on. What about you, Devin? What do you think?
No, definitely not. I don't think I'd eat that Skyline Chili anyways. It just sounds pretty nasty.
It was pretty good, but it wasn't worth it. Definitely not worth it.
My wife made
Lindsey,
some of that Skyline Chili, Mike. So there was that cookbook from Renee Paquette, and she calls it some Cincinnati chili, but it's the same exact thing. I was okay, but it has some kind of it's got some sweetness to it. It's different. It's not for everyone.
It's definitely different. And when you go to the restaurant, and I know why they do it now, they load it down with some cheese. There's more cheese on there than there is anything else on the plate. And I'm like, no, I'll just take light cheese, not thinking anything of it. So that might have been the trick right there.
But doesn't cheese do the opposite?
Yeah, yes. That's what I said.
Maybe it's the balance that you have to achieve.
Maybe it's the balance. I don't know, but
yin and yang. I'm the sphincter.
I'm never gonna eat there again. I know that's for sure.
Man, this episode's already in the shitter, huh?
That's right.
Too easy. Lindsey, welcome.
Exactly right. I honestly have no idea what you guys are even talking about. So
nice.
That's all right. Tell her what we're talking about, Mike.
Well, me and Justin Davis, he's over there at the Ringside Rant. He's from Cincinnati, and I went up there recently, and he told me to try some, or I tried some Skyline chili, and it gave me the waterfall shits. So I've been talking shit about it, and he's now saying that you just have to get immune to the food. After you eat it for a while, then your body builds up, and then you're able to eat it. Until then, you're gonna go and eat, and you're gonna be shit before you pay your bill.
Wow, that's terrible.
All
As
right.
as a cook and stuff like that, like people that cook, it's weird to be like, oh, hey man, you pretty much just poison yourself until like Brad said, build up an immunity to it. Just slowly poison yourself. You'll be all right. That's weird to
You
say.
can get it in the can. You can get it in the can at your local grocery store.
Yeah, I'm not even trying that.
Well, we're off to a running start. So appreciate that, Mike. Always a pleasure. I guess it's time to really, slide on into the matches now and, kind of underlay what we're going to talk about this episode. And, for that, we got to kick it to the host of the show, Brad. So, Brad,
I really appreciate
take
that,
it
James.
away.
But we all know that's not true. However, what we've been talking about, this is the fifth part of our women's series. It was only going to be 3 matches originally, or 2 matches. And then we decided just to keep it going and do a 5-part series. I'm going to tell you guys all this. It has been a pleasure. This has been a lot of fun. Today we're going to dive. Last week we were in the Divas, TV, and reality era with Miss Amy Vaughn. And today we're going to be in the women's revolution with Lindsey. So this is where we are now. This is what wrestling has become. As Amy said last week, we want to be in a place where we're not saying it's the first women's main event. We're not saying it's the first women's pay-per-view. We're not saying it's the first referee, first women's commentating team. We're just saying this is the main event. This is the referee. These are the commentators. And I think we're almost there. I don't know if we're all the way there, but we're almost there, because right now, I don't notice a female referee anymore. I don't notice a female commentator anymore. And a couple weeks ago, I had to remind myself that it was Becky Lynch versus Asuka in the main event of, I think, SmackDown or Raw. I can't remember.
Raw.
But they're not saying, hey, female main event. They're not saying that anymore. It's just the main event. It's just what's the best thing on the show that night. So that's, we started this, about 2016 is where they start talking about that revolution, right around 15 to 16. And we're going strong today. So that's what today is, the women's revolution.
Cool.
Cool it is.
Yeah, Lindsey, is there anything you want to add in, before we get going?
So I do want to say that I honestly was not watching wrestling at this point. So like from 2010 basically on up until really the pandemic started, I wasn't watching wrestling. So a lot of these matches I had to go back today and I had to watch for the very first time. So it's pretty cool. Cameo by Miss Elizabeth.
Hello.
Hi.
Is that the dancer?
She's got that pool hair going. Yes, this is my dancer.
Awesome.
He's a fellow dance dad.
Yes, I am definitely a dance dad. You'll be getting up at 4 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
4 days in a row.
Yeah.
Love it. Gotta love it, but it's awesome. So yes.
Right. Yeah, we just came back from her nationals competition this past week. So we were in New Jersey every day. We were at the Jersey Shore. So we were really like in
yeah, my daughter was there. And my wife,
really?
Yeah. They were the exact same nationals as you last week. Yeah.
The Royal competition?
I don't know.
Okay. Something like that. But she won first place in one of her dances at nationals. So that's pretty exciting. She got a very big trophy.
Congrats.
So, yeah. She can't hear what we're saying right now. But anyway, back to wrestling. So I had to go back and I had to watch these matches for the first time. And obviously I knew of the Wrestlemania 35 main event. I had seen like bits and pieces of it here and there, and I was very aware of it. I just hadn't seen it until today. So, and then I was aware of the women's revolution, which I think is very refreshing. I feel like it was about time. I'm super happy about all the things that we're going to talk about today, about having like the first Women's Royal Rumble, the first Money in the Bank match for women. I just think it's a really cool time. So for about like a year now, I guess, I've been going back and watching all the WWE pay-per-views. I think I started in like 1992. And I've just gotten to like mid 2017. So I'm making my way up there. I'm right in the middle of all of this stuff that we're about to talk about.
Nice.
Hey, Devin, I graduated high school in 92.
Oh, jeez.
Where were you, Devin, in 92? -5?
Yeah, my mom was 11. I wasn't even a thought yet.
Get the hell out of here, you ass.
I'm older than your mom?
Oh, jeez, where you been?
I didn't know that. Damn. Don't they have rubbers up in New York? Shit.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, you know that comments like that are hard to kill. Which
Oh!
Hard to come by.
Oh.
But yeah, I got the first match we're gonna cover on this episode is gonna be Tessa Blanchard versus Sami Callahan. Obviously, as many of us know, and you know those who may not, it is an intergender match. It is from Hard to Kill 2020, January 12th, 2020. Obviously, before the pandemic and or before the shutdowns, I guess, basically. It took place emanating from the Bomb Factory in Dallas, Texas. The reports I could find about it attendance was 3,509. And so, you know, exciting stuff. Match length was, I got it at 23:49, so right about 24 minutes, which, you know, pretty good lengthy time match. For all those that care, Meltzer gave it 4 stars. And from what I could see, also, it had a buy rate of 4,400, but that's not counting the people that streamed it on the app, which is obviously going to be way more than that. And for those paying attention, because Lord knows I did, the announcers are Josh Matthews and that damn Don Callis. But that's enough about that intro to it. So, you know, I'll let Devin, he tends to love all this Impact stuff. So, Devin, take it away.
All right, so this feud between Sami Callahan and Tessa Blanchard actually starts way back before Slammiversary in 2019. That's when Ohio versus Everyone, that was Sami Callahan's faction. They were actually attacking Fallah Bahh and Killer Cross. They're about to beat up Scarlett Bordeaux. That's when Tessa Blanchard came down to make the save. Tessa Blanchard would go on to start feuding with Ohio versus Everyone. She'd pick up wins over Jake Chris and David Chris. And then at Slammiversary, Sami Callahan would face off against Tessa Blanchard in the first ever intergender match in TNA history. Well, Impact history, excuse me. In that matchup, Sami Callahan would be the victor. A couple months later, the two would enter a #1 contenders feud, or they would actually be the final two in it and face off again at Unbreakable 2019, where again Sami Callahan would win, and he became #1 contender. So he got to face Brian Cage for the Impact World Championship. After a few months of feuding with Brian Cage, he eventually won the Impact World Championship inside a steel cage, and immediately was challenged by Tessa Blanchard. He came down and challenged him right in the cage for that world championship. Then throughout the next few weeks, they were cutting killer promos, attacking each other backstage. That's pretty much led us up to this, the third match in their trilogy. Sami Callahan up 2-0.
Awesome, Devin. Thank you so much. So let's break down the match. Let's talk about the match. But to be honest with you, I was watching wrestling now. I was, like I said in the last episode, I took some time off. I came back into it in 2012. I was watching. Not a lot of TNA Impact, though. So this was new to me. But I got to ask you, James, because you are the commentating expert. What did you think of this dynamic duo of Josh Matthews and Don Callis?
Well, I wasn't watching TNA at this particular time. So it was, I wouldn't say refreshing to see Don Callis, because obviously the Omega, you know, him and Omega thing. But I don't know. I liked at least I recognize his name. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know who Josh Matthews was, but listening to it, I mean, I enjoyed it. They do a good job of selling the moves and all that stuff. I appreciate that. Yeah. They do go on about Callahan being disgusting and vile, and the visuals on a lot of this match definitely are disgusting.
I totally agree. I thought they really sold this match.
And they lay out. I kind of like how they would lay out sometimes on some moves, let that kind of sink in, and then they'd be like, "Wow," and then kind of comment on it. It wasn't just boom, 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 like constant talking. Because sometimes when you see a move and you just let it lie there for a second, then comment on it, I think it works out better sometimes. So I'll give them that for sure.
Well, I was just nice seeing Don Callis play a different character to me too. I've really only seen him since the dastardly guy with Kenny Omega.
Mm-hmm.
And this was definitely a different take on him. I thought they did a great job. Now, Coach, Sami Callahan beat Brian Cage. Do you think was that the time that you were watching AEW at the time? Was that when Brian Cage was headed to AEW in 2020?
I don't know the exact timeline, but he came in right at the beginning. He wasn't at the first Double or Nothing, and he wasn't at the first Dynamite. So yeah, that very well could have been his swan song to Impact, and then he moved into TNA, and boy, he got a big push, and then he kind of fizzled out when he lost to Hangman at Double or Nothing in Jacksonville last year.
We haven't seen much of him. He was re-signed and everything, right?
They're just stockpiling him. That's the only guy I can think of that Tony Khan's like keeping away from the competitor.
Yeah, can't figure that one out. Hey, Mike, now Tessa Blanchard made an entrance. I'm sure you're not overly familiar with Tessa Blanchard. What did you think of her entrance, and do you think she's believable as a competitor here?
She made it seem like she was believable. That's for sure. Her selling in the ring when she would get hit made it believable. She was selling a lot more than what somebody else would, and her offense back, Sammy wasn't selling a lot of that. So it was like he was getting hit by a little woman or something like that. He was just doing what he had to do.
Devin, was Sammy though unimpressive? What I mean by that is he an impressive looking man? Do you think he was the right opponent for Tessa?
I think he was a good opponent. I mean, if it was someone more fundamentally sound, then I think that it would have been, less believable. It's Sami Callahan. He beats everyone by being, gross, by being disgusting, using all the weapons and hardcore. He had to be in this singles match against Tessa Blanchard. He had to use the rules.
So what I'm getting
at,
at,
led to her advantage.
What I'm getting at here is that he beat Brian Cage to be the champion. Now, would she have looked? How would that have looked with her against Brian Cage to you?
Not good at all.
Right.
That would have been a complete difference.
So, Lindsey, this is an intergender match. What do you think of intergender wrestling in general?
I mean, I feel like it might be an unpopular opinion, and I feel like it might kind of go against what you guys have been talking about for the last couple of weeks on this show, that I really don't like it. Like, I kind of feel the way that, like, Jim Ross feels. I just feel like it's kind of like society, or I don't know if it's society or if it's just me, but I'm just like, I don't know. It's hard to watch. It's just a little awkward for me, to be honest. And I will say I didn't get to watch this particular match because I don't subscribe to Impact, but I did watch the Unbreakable match for 2019. And there were some things in there that I was kind of like a little turned off by, especially like just spitting in the faces of each other and things like that. So, I mean, I know, of course, I'm familiar with Tessa. I was aware of her winning when this happened. I was super excited because obviously this was the first time a woman has won a major belt in a company against a man. So I think it's a great step for women's wrestling. I'm just not sure if I, in particular, am ready for intergender matches, especially when, the man can mount as much offense on a woman as have happened in this series with these 3 matches with them. So I don't know. It might be an unpopular opinion, but
I agree with you, Lindsey.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I hate intergender matches. I never want to see a man hit a woman in any. It turns me off.
All right. Well, here we are with an intergender match. So by Sammy. It looked like he was going to win the match right away. Of course, Tessa kicks out. Tessa hits the Magnum. Ha! And I don't mean the condom. I mean, Magnum. Diving, it looks like it's like a double knee face, a double knee, what would you call it? A double face breaker off the top. Adam,
It's
what
like
did you
Swerve's move.
Yeah, what do you think of that move, Adam? The Magnum.
Anything named the Magnum is always good in my book.
Did you think it was impressive looking?
The Magnum or the move?
Yep.
Both. They both look good. Yeah.
Thank you. Hilda Whirl head scissors by Tessa sends Callahan out of the ring. Then there was looked like a moonsault to me. They called it a somersault senton off the top onto Sammy outside of the ring. Sammy hits Tessa with a beer, Mike. Now, do you think that fan got another beer, or was that it?
I guess that would be it.
Oh,
I'd hope you would get another beer. I'd want another beer.
Oh,
Just paying $10 a beer and they throw it on somebody.
So, Lindsay, you already kind of mentioned this, but of course I had to come to you on this. What'd you think of Sammy spitting in the air and catching it in his mouth? Was that like something that would turn you on as a woman?
I remember the headbangers doing that in the 90s, and it was disgusting then. It's disgusting now. Nothing with spit is ever attractive. So let me just point that out.
You know, and then he had it on the side of his face for how long? I mean, you missed the match, I know, but like you used to watch it was absolutely just, he was hard to watch. But I just thought I'd mention that. So Sammy's working the leg on an ankle lock. Looks really painful. Adam, what did you think of the submission holds in this?
The submissions, I mean, I got to watch it briefly because there's not a lot you can do in a U-Haul truck. You know, driving from.
Oh, God, can anybody watch the freaking matches?
I watched most of it. I was in a hurry.
I know you only had a week.
I'm a busy man. But I mean, as far as the submissions and everything, if you watch Tessa Blanchard's facials, she's so good at showing anything that hurts, anything that's done to her, just anything that happens to her facials are so good.
So, all right, we got Bischoff and Jarrett here that haven't watched the match we're covering today. So, anyway, the match slows down from here.
Ain't that the truth?
Sammy's walking around the ring and playing to the crowd. James, what did you think of the crowd reactions?
Oh, you mean all 3,500 of them?
Look, it's better than the Impact Zone at the ECW arena that has 1,000 people.
I mean, it seemed. I mean, they were into it. Obviously, they started a bunch of cheers for Tessa. They were fully behind Tessa for sure. Sami Callahan, I think, helped it a little bit because there were, like, they popped for some good spots, but Sami Callahan would interact with the crowd, like, you know, shut the fuck up, like, this is my fucking ring, like, you know, shit like that. So I think that was good because, yeah. This is,
all right, tell folks at home that we don't have Impact fans here, do we? All right, yeah, we can tell. You can definitely tell. But I got to say this. This is my fucking house, bitch. That's what Sammy said. And then freaking Josh Matthews saying, that's our champion, folks. That's the face of the franchise.
Yeah.
And that is good shit. I don't care. I don't care what you guys say. That is good shit. So Sammy's working every bit of the ref count here outside the ring. Coach, you watched the match, I hope.
I did.
Is Sammy a true heel?
Yes. He really draws the ire of the fans because he touches an emotion of hate out of the fans. You can see it in their eyes that there's like rage toward this guy. He doesn't have to try to fake it. It looks real. And the whole crowd was against him, and I loved it.
Great. So the selling in this match I thought was absolutely awesome. And not just the selling of the competitors, but like we were talking about earlier, the selling of the commentators as well, selling every move, because Sammy is toying with Tessa through this whole thing. Tessa won't give up. It's that never give up attitude. She's beaten down. They're face to face on the apron. And again, the Magnum onto Sammy on the apron. Magnum as the move, Adam. Samoan drop on Callahan, and then she hits yet a third Magnum. And then Sammy with a double underhook move, which they call the get out of here. Then Tessa hulks up, like, you know, Hulk Hogan, and screams, fuck you! Hits Sammy with the cutter for a near fall. Looks like a 3, but was it 3, Devin?
No, I don't know. It looked like he was trying to kick out right at the end of it to make him not look like I don't know, like he was putting a woman over.
That's a theme for tonight. Bad counts.
You know, you're right. And the fans definitely made it. They sold me on it that it almost wasn't a 3 count. And that's why I asked you that, Devin, because I thought it was 2 3/4 too. But the fans, they made it sound like, oh no, that was 3. So the fans are definitely into this. Callahan powerbomb into another brutal submission. Sammy grabs the belt, ready to hit Tessa. Ref takes it off him. Then the ref is distracted and Tessa hits the low blow. Mike, does this cheapen the match?
Yes.
Great
Anytime you do
answer,
it,
Mike.
it's cheating me. Of course it does. You can't do it to her. So yeah, it's
Oh,
cheap.
that's what it is.
Competitive advantage.
It's not fair.
Yep, that's right.
All right.
I'll take the counterpoint. I
ahead.
liked it. I think that made it more realistic. I know that there are some women that could beat the crap out of men, but and for the most part, a girl is going to beat a guy by hitting him in the junk. You know, so I think that was really realistic. I had no problem with it.
You know what it reminds me of, Coach? It reminds me of the movie Rocky Balboa. Now I'm talking number 6 here when he's in his 60s, and Mason the Line Dixon, great name, breaks his hand on him. And all of a sudden, it evens the score a little bit with this 60-year-old man and this champion because the guy only's got one hand. You're right. That is a good point. So I thought it cheapened the match a little bit, though. But I understand what you're saying, and that's why that's why we talk through this. So now we have a 4th Magnum, not a good one, and into a submission. Now, Adam, is this too many false finishes for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting there re-looking over it because I'm tired of getting scalded for it.
What do you mean?
I'm watching. I had to make sure I knew what the Magnum was in the actual move, not from the video from earlier today. So I had to make sure I was watching. I had to make sure I was watching the right move. But yeah, after so many attempts with the same move, it just makes it look like it's not effective at all.
Right. I mean, this is her finishing move, and this is the 4th one. So, right. I'm thoroughly enjoying the match, but at the same time, it is a lot of false finishes. But you know what? It is a big match. It is a big match too. So now Sammy with the second pile driver, or no, Sammy gets hit with the second pile driver, or hits the second pile driver on Tessa and the kick out. Again with the spit. I kept writing it down because I don't understand, but I guess it really does make him a very, very unlikable character. So Tessa with the Canadian Destroyer, and then again, so now a buzzsaw DDT, and she gets the win. James, now, did we get a good crowd reaction here?
Yes, all 3,500 in attendance were definitely behind her and losing their mind.
You act like it's 6 people. 3,500 not
I'm not gonna lie, man. Watching this match, I was like, I want to get into it. The emotion's there. She's selling it. She's screaming. He is being disgusting, and but I was just like, you'd see these like big moves, and it'd be like 1, 2, and a kick out, and you'd hear like, I'm like, man, I don't know. The crowd kind of took it out of it for me. I'm not even gonna lie. The match was good. When they popped for stuff, obviously, like, let's go Tessa, and then they what was that? The ref, you suck, or whatever, when he did that count. But the crowd just didn't really seem. The crowd could have made that match epic. Like when we covered the FTR Briscoes, there's like 4,000 people there. You thought they packed out Wembley or something. Here, it just seemed like you're at a glorified house show.
All right. Well, now I think I know the answer, Lindsey, because we kind of been talking through this, and that's what happens a lot of times. You guys just don't follow the notes that you don't see. I don't know how that happens, but. How important is this win for wrestling, or is it important at all?
I think it's very important. I think it shows that women can be on the same level as men. I think it shows that women are capable of handling main events. I think it's about time that things like this are more regular, not necessarily intergender, but I think it's about time at this point that, women are shown that they're just as tough as men. And some of the women that are wrestling today are definitely more capable than some of the men. So I think it's just, I think it's about time.
All right. Well, Coach, let me ask you something, Coach. Do you think that was there any point in this match where you almost forgot it was an intergender match?
No, I did not. And it wasn't about her ring attire or anything. when the match started and there was a boy against a girl, a man against a woman, instantly turned me off. I couldn't care if it was a 5-star match. I don't like seeing men hit women.
I understand, but was there anybody that felt that way? And I don't have anybody's name written down here. That felt that they forgot for a minute while they're watching this match, watching the moves, watching the selling in the ring, that this wasn't this. Did anybody forget it was intergender for a second?
No.
Okay, I did. Thanks.
Well, I will say that because I didn't watch this match, but I did watch the one from 2019, and I will say that I did not it didn't, that didn't occur in my brain, only because the commentating made mention of it over and over and over. So I didn't hear this one, but if they did the same things, then I mean, it's kind of hard to not feel like it's definitely an intergender match. Like, I definitely didn't forget that fact while I was watching.
I didn't forget that it was a intergender match at all, but clearly by Tessa selling, she was selling more for Sammy's hits, and Sammy was selling less for Tessa's hits than they would, in their normal matches. So, I mean, I think that helped, and obviously, Tessa looks like a woman, but.
All right, so then let's take it a step further, Devin. Compare this to the Jeff Jarrett China match. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. I still think that's opposite, because China was bigger than Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, but we have weapons.
That's true.
I don't know what I'm doing here.
I think this one was more of a legitimized match than that Good Housekeeping match for sure. And the thing is, I didn't really escape it, because like everybody's saying, they the storytelling in the match and the commentary was she's gonna it's David and Goliath type, stuff. She's fighting and clawing her way back, she's barely hanging on the whole match. And like Devin said, she takes a punch and flies damn near almost through the ropes, and then she hits him. It's just which I get, real or whatever, however you want to put that, but I mean, it was booked and played out, I guess, to seem like a man versus a woman.
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't think my opinion is felt the same here, but I love this match. I did forget there was intergender match. I thought the selling was excellent. I think Sammy put her over like a champ. He really sold those moves. Very giving too. I mean, let's face it. I know it's 2022. We're all supposed to feel a certain way. He still put a woman over in the ring. All right, and he definitely did that, and he made her look strong, with the exception of the low blow. I did love this match. Where the hell is Tessa Blanchard right now?
She just got fired from the new kickoff of that Glow. They were going to do a new reinstallment of Glow, and she got fired from that.
Is it something called the Women of Wrestling? Something like that?
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I knew it was something like that. But yeah. It's out of Vegas.
Yeah,
yeah, she got fired.
Is there something to her personality that she can't, how is this person, how does she not have a job? I mean, she looks good. I'm not saying she's I wouldn't give that example like JR used to say of a athletic 10. But she looks good. She's athletic. She looks strong.
And Impact, I mean, with her winning this match, Impact pretty much said this is our top star, not male, female. This is the top star in our company.
Definitely. So, now we got.
I think she.
Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
I think she had a bad attitude in the back. I think that was a big thing for her. She wasn't good in the back.
How is that even a thing? Here they are putting her over as the champ. I know, but I've heard that too. And now let's also remember the timing of this. January of 2020. Not much longer. And then the world.
Did you see the commercial for that one pay-per-view? It's coming to New York in March or April. And I'm like, nope. No, it didn't.
Not coming. So I don't know the whole story. I don't know any of the story, but I know this. Not too many wrestling organizations were doing well after this, so I'm sure that came into play as well. But anyway, does anybody have anything they'd like to add?
No.
Okay. Kick it back to you, James.
Well, exciting kick out to or kick off, I should say, to that match. I don't know. The crowd kind of just did not do the match for me, but the match was good. But that's enough of that.
Whatever.
I like the
What's that?
Well, it appears here on host Brad's notes that we're gonna kick it on over to Lindsey, and Lindsey's gonna got a special topic for us today, so can't wait to hear about it. Lindsey, take it away.
Thank you. So when I was asked to see if I wanted to talk about anything, the first thing that came to my mind was the evolution of just women's appearances in general. And the biggest thing I think that's most refreshing to me in the women's revolution was that we finally saw women that weren't, cookie cutter Barbie shapes. And for me personally, I am a plus size woman. It's very refreshing to turn on the television and see beautiful, like hardcore plus size women in wrestling. And it's something I thought I would obviously never see, especially in WWE. But now that we have those things, I think it's very refreshing. So one of my missions in my life is to kind of normalize that all women are supposed to look differently. I have a daughter. She's growing into being her own person, and I just want her to know that, it doesn't matter if you look like Sasha Banks or you look like Nia Jax. Like, your body is your body, and it's beautiful no matter what it is, and it's the way that it was supposed to be made. And I just think it's really refreshing. So the fact that we have women like Nia Jax or like Dewdrop or like Awesome Kong and things like that, and it's not like constantly talked about as, oh, this is a big woman, like back in the day we had women like Bertha Faye, and she was basically just like a laughing stock on WWE or WWF TV in the day that, like, she's a very large woman. And the one thing I wanted to say too was that even in the early 2000s, you had women like Vicky Guerrero. And if you listen to some of the commentary, especially from the early 2000s when she was, I guess mid 2000s when she was managing, all they talked about through the entire match, it didn't even really talk about the match. They talked about her body, and they talked about how they thought she was so disgusting and so heavy. And it's refreshing to see women wrestling being in the bodies that they're in and not being, apologetic for the way that they are. And it's refreshing to not hear comments like that on commentary, and it's just talking about the wrestling and not talking about what they look like. So that's really what I wanted to say.
Lindsey, that's awesome. We are a big fan here of Nikita Lyons. Do you know who that is?
Yes, I do. She was in my notes that I left on my desk today about how she's another one, because you can be a very beautiful, very sexy woman, and you can still be a little bit on, not cookie cutter Barbie shape. So not everybody has to look like Charlotte Flair. Not everybody has to look like Becky Lynch. And, you can still be absolutely drop dead gorgeous like Nikita Lyons, who I am in love with, and still be sexy and beautiful and still be hardcore and go and kick somebody's butt. So it's just really refreshing to me.
Who was the first on my radar with that was Nia Jax. And because she started, I think it was right around the beginning of the Revolution, maybe a year or two after. When she came out, she is beautiful. She is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they did do some things with that they maybe shouldn't have, but she is beautiful, and she is a model as well. So, that's great. I really appreciate you talking about that. And we are definitely all on board. So
that's good to hear. I'm glad.
Yeah,
very well said.
One of our earliest episodes had an FMK with Dewdrop, and I think we all we were on the Dewdrop train now for sure. We all.
I mean, I hate her name. I hate her name, but I love the wrestler. She's great at what she's doing.
Who was that? It was Dewdrop, Nikita Lyons, and who was the third? Was it Nia Jax?
Yeah, Nia Jax.
Yeah, Nia
Oh
Jax.
my God, that's a hard one to pick from.
We actually argued it, and I think some of us changed our answers.
Really?
Yeah, that was early on.
Yeah, Dewdrop got the babyface push on that one pretty heavy. As we all started talking, I think we all pretty much swung to marrying her.
We do hate that name too, though. We definitely do. Piper Niven. There you go. Well, thank you for that, Lindsey. James, I'll go ahead and kick it back to you.
All right. Well, it is a show of a lot happening, and definitely a lot of firsts, as they say, and kind of wanted to bring some light, since we're talking about women's this evolution of the revolution. We do need to talk about the Women's Royal Rumble. The first one, I thought it was in 2018, January 28th of that year, from the Wells Fargo Center in beautiful Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Yeah, it was in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, isn't it? Look at Brad, man. This is the happiest I've seen him ever on any episode.
I know this is James' moment, but I was there. Go ahead, James.
Hey, that's crazy because we're in Pennsylvania right now. We're almost passing through Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Oh, the Billy Joel country.
Home of Bad News Brown.
Take me down to Allentown. James? All right, go ahead.
Hey, I like me some Billy Joel.
Yeah, hell yeah. Where were
Yes, the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Attendance was 17,629. I guess Brad was one of those. Shout out. Match length was 59 minutes. Meltzer gave that Royal Rumble, the very first inaugural women's one, 3.25 stars. Just a little quick tidbits about it. I was a pretty big fan of this. I was really pumped that they had a women's Royal Rumble because I think it's the most exciting match that WWE does. Unless Brock eliminates the first 15 people, then it's not exciting. But I love the Rumble. It's one of my favorites. Sasha and Becky were the first two in the ring, which I thought was you could have gone legend there. I figured they would, but to have Sasha and Becky, they're the hot commodity right now, kind of get the crowd into it. And also legitimizes it right out of the gate. Boom. I thought it was interesting. Michelle McCool had the most eliminations that Rumble match with 5. I did not see that happening for sure. Sasha lasted the longest at 55 minutes. So, she was the Iron Woman of said match. She was part of the Final Four was Sasha, Asuka, and the Bella Twins, who some other people are big fans of here.
Hell yeah. Just one of them.
Yeah. And obviously it's well remembered for Asuka wins, obviously, but after the post-match celebration, why not take away Asuka's moment with Ronda Rousey debuting and coming out there pointing at the sign and everything. And fun fact, the leather jacket she was wearing, Piper's son let her borrow and use for that show. So that was a legitimate Piper jacket. But yeah, the first Women's Rumble, went off good fanfare. It main evented that pay-per-view. And I loved it when Asuka won. The crowd obviously did too, I guess. I don't know if they piped it in. Brad, you were there. But it seemed like it was a legit when Asuka won, everybody popped pretty heavy.
Yeah, it was fantastic being there. Now, I'm not going to lie. Fact, I left right at the point where Ronda was coming out because I knew that I could get to the car real quick and drive the hell out of there. And I could care less about Ronda. I'll tell you what was very interesting to me about that was 2 people that were not in that match. And that would have been Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. And the reason? They were both champions at the time. So at the end of that, you see them both holding up their belts and then Ronda coming out, which of course I've rewatched it, I don't know, 17 or 18 times since. But it was a great night. It was, it's funny at the time I was actually a little disappointed that it was main eventing. Now looking back, it makes a lot of sense. But I always I get the men's Royal Rumble always main events, at least lately. Because you always have that chance that someone losing from earlier gets put in that match. But it was the second match on the show. But whatever, it was the right move because it was the first ever inaugural. Now, Lindsey, what did you were not watching at the time?
I wasn't, but I did watch this match because I knew it was the first Women's Royal Rumble and I was very excited about it. So I watched it. I remember watching it from the day that it happened. I am a big Bella Twins fan only because I nominate myself as the third Bella Twin. I look like them. I act like them. So I'm throwing that out there. So the fact that they were in the Final Four was exciting for me. I felt like the right person won that match. It was very exciting. I remember the photo that they all took afterwards when they were all standing on the risers together, I guess backstage. And I felt like it was a huge moment. I'm super happy that it main evented. And I think that was a huge turning point for me as far as starting to follow wrestling again, to be honest.
It was so nice seeing all those wrestlers that we talked about from the Ruthless Aggression era in that match as well. So just, call back to them.
Hey, Brad, I do have a question about the Women's Royal Rumble, though.
Okay.
Do you like how they brought Ronda out after who won the first?
Asuka.
They brought Ronda out after Asuka won. They brought Ronda out to kind of overshadow Asuka. I don't like how they did that. It
You
should
know,
have been her moment.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm going to tell you right now, that whole crowd stayed for her. They knew she was coming, and I
Not
didn't
you.
know, because I'm not one of the ones that reads. I don't read what's coming. I like to be surprised still, and even though I was going, I like to be surprised. But I found out while I was sitting there by the 800 wrestling nerds around me that Ronda was going to be there tonight, and that's what everybody was waiting for, and that's why the match was. That's why it was ending that way too. So the crowd was ready for her. The crowd wanted to see her. I mean, you know, everybody gets overshadowed in their championship match, don't they? How many times do we see somebody?
But it being the first one, though, is what I'm saying. The very first one was Oscar's the first by Ronda Rousey.
Ain't me this time. It's not me.
I guess the point is, though, is how many times does anything get interrupted? Like people are dedicating this. This is their last match. This is this, and all of a sudden you see Austin Theory come out, or this is the last DX. The last time DX is going to be out, you see Damian Sandow come out. That's what WWE does. So do I love it? No, but it's what they do. It's what they do.
Shinsuke won the men's rumble, and then Asuka won the women's rumble. So it was cool to see, you know, like two minorities, I guess you could say, you know,
Yeah.
both Eastern Asian win it. You know, that's cool.
Do you remember who he eliminated?
Roman?
Yep. Yes, he did. And that's what made the crowd go nuts.
Yep.
No one wanted to see Roman win again. And he was the favorite. Like, again, even though he got booed out of the arena the year before.
His theme is epic. I love Shinsuke's theme. Love
It is so good. So good. It used to be my ringtone. And everybody's like, dude, what are you doing? This is like 10 minutes. Can you answer the damn phone? I just would let the song play.
You're just dancing in the dealership.
Yeah.
That thing.
I had someone pull me aside once and say, hey, man, was that Shinsuke Nakamura? I'm like, hey, dude, I knew you were a wrestling fan. Yeah. All right, pal.
Oh, man.
Anyway, good job, James.
Yeah. Oh, and for the record, the announcers on that Women's Royal Rumble, I didn't even write it down.
Well, thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah, right. But, you know, so that's enough about that Women's Royal Rumble match. I guess it's time for a little, you know, lights out style with the next match that we're going to cover is Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. The lights out match from the St. Patrick's Day Slam. Awesome episode of it's a Dynamite episode. Awesome. From March 17th, 2021. Roughly getting back to some live event status, but not yet. This did emanate from Daly's Place in Jacksonville. Went a little over 16 and a half minutes. Meltzer, you know, loved this, gave it a 4.25 stars. And our beautiful announce team, as we all know, Mr. Jim Ross, we have Tony Schiavone and Excalibur. Loved this match. I thought it was really good. This is kind of, to me, set a really big tone for women's wrestling, especially, you know, since we're already on this journey. But it's enough about me on that. Adam, you know, take it away, buddy.
Well, I did a little bit of the backstory and searching it and whatnot. Apparently, they had a couple of matches before this. Their first match was actually at Beach Break, February 3rd, 2021. Britt Baker actually beat Thunder Rosa in that match. And then I didn't find the date, but I know it was the Revolution, the pay-per-view Revolution. It was the buy-in where Britt and I think it was Maki Ito actually had a match against Thunder Rosa and Riho, which Britt Baker and Maki Ito won that match also. So this was the third match of the whole series. So I guess that's what made up what you would say lights out unsanctioned match. But in between this, they had a bunch of interferences with each other. Seemed like anytime you seen Britt at the end of the match, here comes Thunder Rosa. Anytime you saw Thunder Rosa, here comes Britt Baker. So they just said, we're just going to do a lights out, unsanctioned, no DQ, false count anywhere kind of match. And it was probably one of the best matches of the year out of any company, in my opinion. But glad to see what y'all think about it.
I'll tell you this one. I know all of you assholes watch this match. Am I right?
Yes, we
Watch
did.
it. Yeah, watch it
God
live.
forbid any of you miss any AEW. You know,
You're right.
Yeah, I definitely want. I watch this one twice.
the only great wrestling ever.
Watch
All
it
right.
live, baby. Not
Everything
live,
else
but
is shit.
on TV.
This is the reason I.
AW slipping.
This was the reason I joined and became a top guy, is because I got to meet Thunder Rosa a week later on Zoom. So actually, it was my push at the time, which led me into top guy in about 2 weeks.
I met her in Chicago, and I sat with her. She sat with us, me, Polly B, and Polly's son, and I think Mark Nelson. She sat with us at the bar and just chatted with us like she's known us for years. Super awesome chick. She really is.
Lindsey, what do you think of Thunder Rosa?
I love her. Like I said about plus size representation, it's amazing to see a Hispanic representation. I told her that when I talked to her on Zoom also, and she's also a huge Selena fan, which is like, little known fact about me, I am a singer. I've been a singer since I was a very little girl. I became a singer because I remember Selena when I was a little girl. I remember when Selena was killed. I saw the movie in the theater when it came out. Like, Selena is a huge part of my life. So seeing somebody else who has the same like I do is very refreshing. And she's like one of the best not just women's wrestlers, but one of the best wrestlers, period, right now. I can't say enough good things about her.
Recently joined Busted Open Radio. Shout out to Dave LaGreca and the team. Now, Coach, we have a young lady in this match that you were very fond of. Rebel hits Rosa with the crutch. Coach, go. Tell me something.
I love it. Rebel saved Britt Baker's ass many a time. And, you know, in this opportunity, Thunder Rosa deserved it. I suspend all belief when Dr. Britt Baker and Rebel come out there. It's almost like I feel like a protector of them. I don't want to see them get hurt. So if anybody messes with Rebel or Britt Baker, I get pissed. But when Rebel, that clutch was crutch. The crutch was clutch. Remember they had that T-shirt back then, and it sure did come in handy at that point because Britt was about to really get it.
Definitely. Thunder Rosa was not signed this time, Mike. Do you think that was odd for this match?
Not for AEW. They seem to do
for a
stuff
main
like that all
event.
the time.
For a main event?
No, I mean you just talking about her not being signed with AEW.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if it was WWE or something like that, it definitely wouldn't happen. But since the beginning, AEW's been doing stuff like that. So
I agree, but just for the fans at home, just understand that she did not have an AEW contract, is what we're getting at here, and Britt Baker did. So, but I just wanted to hear your take on it, Mike. But Sheeta watched on the monitor. Coach, where's Sheeta been?
Oh, she, I think she got hurt or something. Before that, it was a visa issue. And I think recently she got hurt again, but she cut her hair. She's going for a new look. So I think that's also a part of it. They're going to give her a little time off so they can really bring her back, because they brought her back about 3 or 4 months ago and then took her off again.
Gotcha. Now, I know you love these commentators, right, James?
Loved it. That's exactly right, Brad.
Yeah, they're great.
Our boy Shivani was definitely in the pander mode during this match. I wonder if this is this where it all started when Conrad started ragging on him all the time?
I think so.
Because it was like, you're exactly right, Excalibur. Well, you're correct, JR. Like, just the whole time. I mean, he'd had his own stuff in, but I did like the commentary. Obviously, just giving Tony a hard time. They state how dangerous the match is quite a bit. They reiterate that a lot. You know, obviously it's a lights out match, but to give it more context and more like, you know, legitimacy to it, they definitely reiterate the danger. I think JR does a great job of selling it, and he kind of puts this like up there on the main event status, because you could just look at this as, oh, it's a women's match. They're doing some hardcore stuff, but JR is really getting into it, and he makes you like get into it too. So I really think he does a good job, especially with a lot of the matches that we have watched, you know, than the past. JR, like, he does a lot more, I guess, subconsciously than people maybe realize when he really gets into these women's matches, because it gives a level of, you know, legitimacy to it. So I love JR bunch.
You know, and it really pisses me off about, you know, he shouldn't live in an age of Twitter.
Yeah.
He should not, because he takes all of it way too personally. Way too personally. Because the only thing on Twitter they're telling you to we get it for goodness sakes. You know, we're new to this and we get it. Like it's amazing. So, Coach, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm
Okay,
here. I'm just about to go in the gym in case it goes bad. I just wanted to mute myself in case it glitches.
I just wanted to make sure you were there. Okay, I'm good.
Oh, I'm not leaving.
All right, thanks. Now, Adam, this is a Falls Count Anywhere match. How do you feel about this concept? Do you like when they are counting outside of the ring and stuff like that?
I do if it's done right and it's needed in the match. I mean, I don't like it just, hey, let's just go have a Falls Count Anywhere match. I like it if it's done once a year, twice a year. And if it's needed for the match, if it's needed for the rivalry, then yes, I don't mind it at all because it's just different. Fucking moron.
What's that, Frank?
By the way, Devin, I'm looking at some bullshit notes here that you sent me. What do you mean you couldn't find this match on YouTube? You couldn't find this match on YouTube?
I only found it was like 3/4 of the match.
You a lie, son.
Yeah, because you didn't try very hard. It's column 2.
I found the whole show, but it's okay.
I found the whole show.
I found it today on YouTube. I saw the whole thing.
Hey, Devin's 24 years old. I just want to say that again, that he couldn't find it on YouTube. Great job, Devin.
I don't care. I'm not a big fan of this match. I don't like it.
Oh, go ahead. All right,
I've just never liked that sort of stuff. I don't go back and watch old ECW or any of that either. I don't watch the Hardcore Japan. I don't know. Just when you bring in tax and stuff, it's just way too much for me. I don't want to watch that. I've pricked my thumb with a tack, and I hate that. You think I want to watch someone's whole back get covered in tacks? Like, if that was me, I'd be crying.
Kind of giving away the ending here, buddy.
For
someone who didn't like it. For someone who didn't like it. All right, so fine, Devin. All right, that's fine. Hey, Coach, let me ask you something. Now, this was in the middle of the pandemic. Well, end, middle, beginning again, whatever. We had a lot of starts and stops in the pandemic. Let's say about a few minutes, 5-6 minutes into the match, do you remember it being better at the time than watching it back now?
No, because I really had the enthusiasm of the match live. It really had me amped up. And again, just kind of refined my thoughts, but that match was awesome. And I got emotional during the match, so I got to buy in there at time.
Lindsey, would you consider Britt a top star before this match?
I did, because she's one of those ones that even if you don't really follow too much, then you know who she is. So I was fully back into wrestling at this point, and I will say I try my hardest to like Britt Baker. I have a lot of respect for her, but because I'm from Baltimore and she's from Pittsburgh, it's just one of those things I just can't get behind.
Whoa. You can't hate Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh can only hate you.
No. Everybody in Baltimore hates everybody from Pittsburgh.
You got a made-up football team there. You stole Cleveland. You and Cleveland should have the problem. Pittsburgh, you guys are like a team for get the hell out of here with that.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Anything yellow also is, yeah. But I definitely knew very well who Britt Baker was. I do have a lot of respect for her. I think she's definitely at the top of her game right now. I think that this match helped set that off quite a bit, even though I feel like she didn't really even need it. But I did watch this match live as well. I watched it trying to go to bed, I remember, because I have to wake up for work very early in the morning. And I stood in front of my TV getting ready to turn it off, and I couldn't turn it off. So I do remember that. And I watched it again yesterday. So it's the same feelings for me. I don't think it's any better now that I've seen it again. I think it's one of those ones that's like it'll go down in history pretty much.
So, all right, I'm just gonna pretend that some of that wasn't said about Pittsburgh from this Baltimore person. By the way, how early do you have to get up?
I have to be at work at 7 a.m. But I have to kind of get my daughter to my mother, who keeps her during the day, and it's a whole shuttle. So I pretty much get up around 5 every day.
5 a.m. James, does that sound like sleeping in, pal?
I remember the days of being at work at 5:30, and now I miss it.
I can't do it. It's been like almost 2.5 years, and I still struggle every day.
Mike, what did you think of Rebel's role in this match?
She was just outside interference. She played her normal role. I think it could have been good without her in there. Just Britt and Rosa could have had a real good match. But she did her interference when she needed. She didn't do it too much, but she did it when it was needed.
I really thought it was funny with just. I felt like it was her job to throw all those chairs in the ring, and it just seemed like it was nonstop.
She went through a table.
Yeah, she did. We're getting there, right?
I was gonna
Guys,
say, I
really-
love that she was putting all the stuff in the ring. I love that she pulled the ladder out and threw that in the ring, and I love that she made a pile of chairs, and I loved it.
So what did we think of the suplex off the top rope from Britt Baker under Thunder Rosa onto the chairs? Can anyone can jump in? Please tell me who benefited from that one.
Can I just say, it was really telegraphing to me that Thunder Rosa beforehand had taken the pile of chairs and flipped them all over to make sure that they were all on the smooth side before this match, before that move happened. Kind of telegraphed that there was obviously going to be a big bump onto them at one point. But I mean, it was hard to tell because neither one of them really sold it. So it was kind of one of those kind of head scratching moments for me.
What did you think of that, Adam? Can you take yourself off mute, pal?
Well, it's all, it's a lot of road,
You're driving down the road. You're riding in the passenger side. Stop acting like you're busy. You're not doing shit.
I'm not busy. It's just a lot of road noise.
Just roll up the window.
Yeah.
I'm so busy, and now he's frozen. Now this frozen.
Frank's doing all the work.
He's
I'm
fucking
not
driving.
frozen. I'm right here. It's not even that cold. How am I frozen?
You're literally just sitting there doing nothing right now, acting like you're the busiest man in the world. You're reminding my
I
wife.
didn't say I was busy. I said there's a lot of road noise. Leave me alone, Brad.
All right, what'd you think of the damn move?
The suplex was awesome. I loved it because the fans got the benefit from it.
But
We
why would you
love
do it
hardcore,
like
baby.
that? Tell me why it makes sense. How does that
It
make
doesn't
sense?
make sense. It was
All
stupid.
right, thank you.
But we enjoyed it as fans.
We got JR Lindsey over there telling me they're telegraphing the move. That's definitely a JR thing to say, for sure. So then we have Britt's bleeding now, pouring out of her head and then we have Thunder Rosa biting the cut. Thunder Rosa with a Death Valley driver onto the ladder, DDT stomp onto the chair by Britt. Then we see the famous bloody smile by Britt. James, how many of these t-shirts did you buy? And can you quickly put one on?
I bought 0 because, I'm not the richest man on the planet. But definitely, I remember watching this match, on TV. Loved every minute of it. I was hooked. And then when that happened, even before the commentary said something, I was just like, that's an epic, that's what it's about right there. So I dug it. I thought it was cool. Obviously, I was just thinking in my head, man, I need to get that t-shirt. And then, you just said it. But I loved it. Great stuff. I mean, really great stuff. And then, didn't it say, role model or something?
Yeah.
Oh,
Something
epic.
like
That's
That,
epic.
that spot reminded me of the Austin spot when he did it at WrestleMania.
Absolutely. So, all right. So now I'm not going to ask you, Devin. You were written down here, but now you're crossed off because of what you said earlier. What did you think of all the attacks in this match, Lindsey?
I mean, I like stuff like that. So seeing it with women for me for the first time was pretty cool. I think it was nice that they build up to who's going to go through them, and they're going back and forth and trading moves back and forth. And when it finally happened, the crowd, whoever was there at the time, they really popped for it, which I did in my house. So I think it was pretty cool.
Yeah. If we ever have a Zoom with Mick Foley, I think one of us should definitely ask him if he watched this match and what he thought of it, because I think this would even do. He would. I don't know. I'm not used to
I feel like he tweeted about it at the time.
He might have.
Yeah.
He might have. So I definitely think this is something I would like to ask him at the very least. So freaking coach said he'll be right back, right in time for his question.
I'm right here.
Okay.
I'm right here.
I got a text. We all got it.
I know.
All right. Rebels
Go ahead.
back in the crutch. It backfired, and then she went through the table, coach. She took a bump through the table. Were you okay?
I was okay because I know Rebel's a beast in the ring. and outside the ring. She's one of the class.
And all right, he's talking. We can't hear him, so he's giving Rebel the respect she deserves. Translate.
Well, Rebel's happy hour, great stuff.
She missed. That's part of the game. Oh, sorry.
Well, you're good. I heard everything.
Sorry about this. Let me go back out. I was just going to say
Reminds me
Rebels
of
and
episode 1, don't it?
Yeah, sorry.
All
The
right.
gym's bad.
Just
Move
glad to
on.
have you back, buddy. Just glad to have you back.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back. Ready to get home.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, are you all right? Thunder Rosa. Hey, by the way, Devin, you're a big NWA fan. She was recently, at this time, she was recently the NWA champion and lost to Serena Deeb. Did this hurt her? Did this hurt her going into this match?
Absolutely not. She shown that she's a pure wrestler, that she's technically sound, that she can do everything. And then in the match against Serena Deeb, arguably one of the best in-ring performers out there. That can't hurt her.
I'll tell you one thing she can't do. She can't carry a company. Ratings have gone down in the women's division since Thunder Rosa has become champion. They need DMD and Rebel back because the women's division was a lot stronger when they were on top. Why would they have to change? Go ahead.
Do you think they're using her properly, or is that her fault?
No. Why would the world champion be in a tag team right now with Toni Storm? If you're the world champion, you don't have to pair up with somebody. You're the best woman in the world. And
I'll tell you right, you're right. You're right about that. And the fact that they actually named it even makes it Thunderstorm. Like if they were just pairing for a while, it's one thing, but to actually name it something and like that's a new tag team. I agree with that, Coach. But I blame AEW for that more than I blame Thunder Rosa. I know you're.
Yeah, I know. I know
you're.
Hey, Brad.
Yeah,
I'm biased.
I am curious. Did you watch Dynamite last night?
No. Freaking
Okay. Well, there's a segment where Britt Baker brings out a bag of sand and hands it to her. Do you think that's too inside baseball?
What did she do?
She brought. Thunder Rosa was accused of sandbagging.
Oh, be right.
Well, Britt Baker brings a bag of sand, like a sandbag, hands it to her in an interview.
I love it.
That's still too inside baseball?
I love it. I love it when something's for us, because even though it's not for everyone else, I love that it's for us. And, nobody's going to pay attention to that, the mainstream, but at least it's something for us nerds out there, right? I love inside baseball. I love that when Eddie Kingston talked to all of us and said, I don't do inside baseball. And honest to God, wouldn't shut up about inside baseball the entire time. he could not give enough dirt away. We know he hated Cesaro.
Oh, man. He made it known. He went out of his way to be like, by the way, hate him.
Yeah. That was such good shit. I wish we could get him back. All right, where the hell was I? Anyway, all right, so James, did this match make both stars, or do you think it made Britt?
I think it made both stars, but I think Britt maybe a little bit more because, like I said, I honestly when I knew we were doing this match, the very first thing I thought of was Britt's bloody face, and I was like, man, I forgot who won that match. So until we watched it again, then I remembered, oh yeah, Rosa won with the pin on the outside through a table that they kind of had to move out of the way. So Britt just laid there for a long time. I don't know that because the referee went to the legs of the table, and then they had to shift around. It was a little awkward to me, but yeah, I would say it made Britt for sure. But Rosa got pretty good rub on that too.
So, all right. So then Rosa drops Britt back first onto the tacks. Britt kicks out at 2. Britt gets the lockjaw to Rosa on the tacks, and Rosa rolls all over on her back. Up to this point, Mike, had you ever seen a women's match? And I hate the idea of using that word women's. We're trying to get away from that, but this is what we're doing in these episodes, so I think it's okay. But up to this point, Mike, have you ever seen a women's match so brutal?
No. I mean, this is the first one I've seen that was like that.
My son
Especially
was
with all the blood and everything else. It was the first one I've seen.
So Thunder drives her through the Thunder Rosa drives through the table out on the floor and gets the win. Lindsey, why would they give this win to Thunder Rosa as someone that's unsigned?
I wonder that myself because I knew at the time that she wasn't signed, but I kind of feel like if they had given the win to Britt Baker, that it kind of would have killed her, I guess, for Thunder Rosa. So I feel like the reason it makes sense to me is that they needed to push Thunder Rosa a little bit more, make her a little bit more legit. And I'm glad that she's signed now, I'm glad she's champion now, but I feel like she wasn't somebody who was super well known at the time, and she needed to come out looking really strong out of this one.
Adam, did you have something you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, I was curious if Thunder Rosa was still technically signed with NWA, because I wonder if that was an NWA, AEW kind of decision. So look, we're letting you have our star from NWA. We want you to put her over because we're loaning her to you. We want her to get beat as we're loaning her to you. I was wondering if that had anything.
What do you think, Devin?
Honestly, that might be. I could see Billy Corgan doing that. I've seen that in a couple other things when he sent Bestia 666 and Mecha Wolf, the NWA Tag Champions, to AAA. He made
What was that name again?
Which one? But so he sent the Tag Team Champions to AAA, and they went over in 2 or 3 defenses. So I could honestly see that.
So I think we've answered this. I put it at the end, and I wrote the word coach, and he said, don't call on me for 15 minutes. But and it doesn't matter because I think we answered this. Who went over? Who got over? That's a big thing that JR says a lot. That's a big thing that a lot of the podcast hosts says a lot. Did it matter who won in this? Did it matter who lost?
No.
I agree. I don't think so.
I don't think it did.
It was just a great match. It would have been better, I would have to say, if there was a bigger crowd. I feel like watching this back, and I did ask it earlier in the notes here, it would have been better. It's not the same now that we're back with crowds to hear one with so few. What was there, 1,000 people in the crowd?
Something like that, yeah.
I did see one special person in the crowd, your girlfriend, Devin, Jade Cargill.
Don't tell Erica if I'm dating Jade Cargill.
You just can't go a fucking episode without damn fiance. I just you've been with her 9 years, bro. She gets it. You love her. You don't have to tell me. I believe you.
I didn't realize flowers were so expensive. I bought those, had them delivered to her work.
9 years.
Holy crap!
What is this? Did I ask about that?
No.
I just now realized in 9 years that flowers are expensive. No, you didn't. Come on, man.
To get them delivered to her work, that was over $100. I was like, holy shit.
$100. And you know what?
That's love right there, brother.
And it comes in pieces. You got to take the thing and put the thing together like a transformer.
Flowers?
Get her some Legos, man. You want to have her put stuff together, man. Get her some bomb ass Legos. You know, something she likes.
Did you cook her dinner tonight? Did you cook her dinner tonight?
Tonight? No.
Are you not doing Little League anymore? Is that over?
No, that ended as a recording 3 weeks ago.
That ended with COVID then? When you got COVID?
Actually, the week I had COVID was the last week.
I have COVID. I can't coach anymore. Anybody have anything they would like to add?
No.
I did watch the after the match YouTube thing that AEW posted, and Thunder Rosa went out there. You know, obviously she's emotional, and everybody's like everybody was back there, and it was standing and clapping. Like the ovation they got when they went to the back was pretty cool. Tony Khan is freaking out. Like it's a Brit. Like thank you for doing this. Thank you. This is so awesome. Like he's really really excited for her. So and it made it. Like. It was a big time thing. It was promoted as a women's main event, and they put the lights out. We're still talking about it. It's one of the best matches I saw.
I agree. Lindsey, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, the one thing I kept saying was that I wished it was longer. I mean, I know it was a TV match and not a pay-per-view match, but I wished it had gone at least 10 minutes longer. Honestly, I don't know how they would have handled that, but I just didn't want it to end really, and I'm glad that both of them seem to have gotten over really strongly with the ending. So, yeah, I liked it a lot.
The funny thing about that, Lindsey, is like one thing about doing this women's series, 1 through 5 here, that we have found is these women's matches up until now were not long at all. And we could watch 3 matches literally in 20 minutes or less. Now, for the first time this week, we had work to do. We actually had work to do. Like these matches were 20 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever the case. So that was a big problem with women's matches over the years, but this one could have been a little longer. The other 2 matches we're talking about were in the 20s, but I would agree. This could have been, it did end a little abruptly. It definitely ended a little abruptly. And I don't know. So I would agree with that as well. Anybody else?
It was a good match. That's all I got to say. I liked it.
Damn.
Well,
Sounds like we're in the money. But, I think Mike has a little bit more to add on that little pun there. But this isn't money, Mike. This is our Mike, our meat minute Mike. And, so I think I said the M enough. Mike, go ahead and take it away, buddy.
So what I'm doing is the first women's Money in the Bank. This one took place at the 2017 Money in the Bank pay-per-view. It was June 18th, 2007, from the Scott Trade Center in St. Louis, Missouri. There was 15,392 people in attendance. There was Charlotte, Carmella, Tamina, Natalia, and Becky were in the match. This started when the 5 women had a #1 contenders match to begin with. And of course, like everything else, all shit broke loose and they just had a brawl. So Shane came out and made the match just for the SmackDown brand. So he came out and made the match a Money in the Bank match. When he announced it, I did see a little video of it, and all 5 girls seemed legit excited about it. Like they knew they were about to put on something new, something special, and it was the first time. There was a very, very nice video package for it, described everything on there. The match lasted 13 minutes, 20 seconds, and Dave gave it a 3 stars. Me personally, I thought it was a good match. Ladies looked very good, like very comfortable in there. So it didn't look like their first time. They were in there moving around. They weren't struggling too much. Kind of looked like they knew what they were doing. So they were definitely practicing a lot about this. There's a bunch of good bumps in there from all the ladies. I gotta hear the ending sucked Sky Chili ass because I hated the ending. Crowd shitted all over it, and the reason was because James Ellsworth went up the ladder, grabbed the briefcase, and kind of dropped it in Carmella's hands. So that's kind of how she won it. Which the next SmackDown they redid a whole nother one, so it kind of made it pointless. But that's what I got.
Yeah, it was
I
nice
remember
to
that.
see him get it. Yeah, it's nice to see him get it. What was that, Devin?
I just remember that. I was watching. I was fully enthralled at the time. And I remember watching James Ellsworth climb to the top and drop that down to Carmella. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
The first ever women's Money in the Bank and a man wins it.
Yeah, to me, the endings ruined the whole match.
Yeah.
For that ending, they should have done something different with that one, but it is what it is.
I did
It's
like
WWE for you.
I did like her having a lackey like that, like a guy that was totally like she was totally out of his league, and I kind of liked the way she was ordering him around, made him think he had a chance. I like that, but yeah, right, the ending was stupid.
I did like how they played their characters throughout the time, but it was just that ending that did it.
And like they did it. She won the next night anyway. So
Exactly.
What was the point?
So they could have done it, made it feel a little bit more special, and they just WWE'd it.
Yep.
Appreciate that, Mike. Hey, James, we did skip something.
Oh, you want to walk it back, maybe?
Adam from Bama, you've been working on it. You've been talking about it. You won't shut up about it. Let's hear it, buddy. What's the new segment?
Oh, the new segment is going to debut next week because I'm
Fuck
not going to
outta here.
Sorry. It'll be next week, I promise.
You asshole.
Can't
What are you
wait.
talking about? Be serious. All right, guys. Keep working real hard on it.
Oh man.
I just realized his name this week on our Zoom is Adam from the U-Haul. That's funny.
That's great shit. Anyway,
Hey,
Coach, are you
fellas,
back?
any final questions? I got to get going.
Yes. What's the time period segment, Coach?
Yeah, let me tell you guys. Here's what I really wanted to talk about. Think about it, guys. 20 years ago, did you guys really think that we'd be able to go to the moon or go to space?
No.
Nope.
No.
Okay.
Now take a look at today. We have 2 companies that are currently creating rockets for human travel to the moon. So my question to you guys is, if you had $100,000 or however much it costed, and you have that kind of discretionary funds, would you go up to the moon on SpaceX or the Virgin Galactic?
No, but I'm sure you want me to say yes. Yes.
If atrophy wasn't as bad of a thing in space, straight up I would. It would be terrifying though. You know, accidents. You're 100% mortality rate if anything goes bad. So, but oh yeah, if it wasn't for the atrophy, I would definitely do it.
I need to know what the phone situation, Twitter situation, wrestling situation is up there. I'm not just going up there to sit around on my hands. I need to watch some TV. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
is there,
can I watch Dynamite up there? Or?
I don't want anything out of my comfort zone. I don't. I mean, it's nice I don't have to go outside anymore.
Yeah, it's true. I guess after a couple hours, you'd be like, you can only listen to fucking Space Oddity so many times.
Yeah, can
until
we?
You're
do
like,
a
well,
Zoom
I'm up here in space, But it would be cool to look at the Earth and everything,
Can we record our show? Like, what?
Yes,
I
you
don't know.
can. We're-
That would be
yes, we
awesome.
can.
Adam from space.
That would be so sick.
Sorry, Coach. What else you got, buddy? I'm sorry.
That's about it, guys. Just wanted to say goodbye. I'll be back in Phoenix maybe by next Thursday.
Lindsey, you getting all this?
Got Starcast Nashville in 2 weeks. Make the most of every.
All right, Coach. I appreciate it, man. You're out for good now?
Yep, I've got to head off right now, but if you need anything else, give me a call.
All right, Coach. Have a
See you
great
guys.
night.
Thank you,
Okay.
Lindsay, for coming on
Okay,
tonight.
Brad.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you. See you soon.
Yeah, bye-bye.
All right, so I got to talk
I'll go
shit.
ahead and do it. I'll do it.
There you go. I'm here. Okay. I lost y'all for a minute.
Well, I'm going to talk some shit about Coach real quick. Did he literally say, did you guys think 20 years ago we could go to space? Considering we did it in 1969? Yes, I did, but I said yes. Fuck off.
I think he meant like.
Yeah, but he said it all wrong.
Yeah.
Thanks to anybody. Yeah, 20 years ago. You mean when I was 6 years old? Yeah, I think it was fine. All right. Well, all right. So let's do this, Lindsay. You said you wanted to be part of this fun show. Now it's time for, and I'm supposed to be doing this every other week, but with the ladies, they all want to do this, so we're gonna do it. FMK. And guess what, Adam? Tell your friend he's playing too. So 'cause I know Big Frank Bruno is a fan of FMK, especially the gentleman. All right. So that's
So am I.
okay then. Okay, it's nice and dark in there, weirdos. So this, I'm running out of ideas. I shit you not, I'm running out of ideas. So I put it to Twitter, even though I got told by James on there that I don't know I know my grammar's wrong. I know that fragment sentences, pal. We're just trying to get a point across. I'm not trying to win.
You want your big guest? Yeah,
I just
all
want to
right.
have a few fragment sentences with a couple extra exclamation points, just trying to get the crowd excited. All right. I'm sorry. The funny thing is I'm an English major. Who would have thought? Anyway, so we are going to.
Rumor has it you also sell cars, but yeah,
Yeah, So this, we did get a number of submissions into my inbox. One of them being Mr. Elkarai, which I'm not allowed to call him anymore. We're going to get to him down the road. Today, Zol was the first one, Zol Lopez. He came up with this idea, and it is we're going to start with female ring announcers. All right. So the ladies are Eden Stiles, who is Brandy Rhodes, Lillian Garcia, and Christy Hemme. Devin, starting with you, buddy. What do you got?
I knew I was starting, so I had to think quick.
That's the goal.
I think I'm gonna right off the bat, I'm gonna ask you to repeat the three.
Oh, okay. Again, for the fans at home, Eden Styles, who is Brandy Rhodes, but she was called Eden Styles at the time. Do I have that right?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Lillian Garcia and Christy Hemme. I know you know them.
All right. So Lillian Garcia was the ring announcer when I was growing up. And honestly, I could hear her every week. She's my favorite ring announcer, so I'm gonna have to marry her. I could hear that voice every day. And then I think that I'm just gonna have to kill Christy Hemme because I'm just not as familiar with her. And Brandy Rhodes, I mean, I guess I gotta fuck her. Oh, oh man,
Close that door. Okay.
it's shut. No, we don't have to worry about that.
Mike Whitaker, you look happy.
Marry Chrissy, fuck Brandy, kill Lillian.
Okay, so we have
Easy.
reasons? Any reasons?
Because I've been in love with Chrissy Hemming since the day she came up on my TV.
Christy Hemme?
Yeah.
All right, so you married Christy or you fucked Christy? I can't remember.
I'm marrying Chrissy,
Who'd you kill?
fucking Brandy. Lillian.
Killing Lillian, huh?
Yeah, I've seen enough of her. I'm okay without her.
you
She went off TV and I didn't miss her too much. So.
Lindsay, she can't hear us, can she?
No. She just asked me for my headphones too, and I'm like, nope.
Listen, I can pivot if we have to, okay?
No, you're good. You're good.
All right. Adam from Bama. What do we got?
Adam from the U-Haul. Get it right, Brad.
Hey.
Well, this is easy. I'm marrying Lillian. I'm effing Brandy, and I'm killing Christy Hemme.
All right.
Same as
Any
me.
particular reason? I mean, this is supposed to be fun, guys.
No, because I love Lillian. She can sing to me all night.
Oh.
He does
She
sing a
has
good
an
start
awesome
to the
singing
singer.
voice. And Brandy's just gorgeous.
What's wrong with Christy Hemme? You just don't know her?
She's too old.
Yeah, how old's Lillian Garcia?
Younger than Christy Hemme.
Are you sure? Can you Google that real quick? Or are you guys in the middle of Pennsylvania? where
You want me to Google and talk at the same time? I do that at home. I can't do that on the road.
I'm looking this up because I think you're full of shit. All right, Frank Bruno. Save us, buddy.
I'm gonna kill Christy. I'm gonna marry Brandy and I'm gonna fuck Lillian.
Really? Fuck
Yeah.
Lillian, huh?
I mean,
That is an odd choice.
I think Brandy would be wonderful to wake up to every morning, and my younger self would love to just be all up in Lillian Garcia. Okay.
All right, Frank. Like it.
Love
buddy.
it.
Wow, Lillian's older than Christy? I had no idea.
Yeah, only by 14 years. That's all.
Wow. Lillian is
There's a
she's
lot about
gorgeous.
Lillian, though, and how incredible she was.
Yeah.
Lillian looks amazing to be her age.
It's really nice for Lillian. James?
I'm marrying Kayla Braxton.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
James.
the minute you said
you.
announcers, I'm like
There.
Kayla. What? So I just wanted to give a special shout out to Kayla Braxton. I heard you're single. Holla. But no, I am killing Lillian. I am effing Christy Hemme, and I am marrying Brandy Rhodes without a doubt.
All right. Lindsay Lopez.
My fellow Lopez has picked this one. It's a good one. So because I'm a singer too, and I'm a huge wrestling fan, I want to be Lillian when I grow up one day. I want her job. Like, somebody has to find me a job in some promotion somewhere where I can do what she did and sing the national anthem and all that. I need that job. So I'm marrying Lillian because I'm jealous of her. Like, I want her life. I really, probably another unpopular opinion, I really don't like Brandy Rhodes at all. I think she was terrible as an announcer, so I'm going to kill her. And Christy Hemme is super hot, and she's like a redheaded, like, crackpot, so I think I'm going to have to go, like, the F one on that one.
So this was tough for me. This is very tough for me because we just met Christy Hemme on the happy hour recently, and I didn't know a whole lot about her, but seemed pretty hot right there for me. I was
She
saying,
has aged very well.
yeah, I didn't mind seeing her as they were the three of them sitting there drinking those drinks. Her, Gail, Kim, and Rebel sitting there like hanging out on the porch, partying. It looked like a good time that I wanted to be at. So I'm in on all three of them, but let's make some tough decisions here. I cannot kill Lillian Garcia. I just don't have it in me to kill Lillian Garcia. I'm going to marry Lillian Garcia. And as much as I have wanted to fuck Randy Rhodes for a long time, I'm going to go ahead and kill her. And I'm going to fuck Christy Hemme instead. Because of Rebels Happy Hour. And only because
all good choices.
But if I'm going to have to throw in an alternate here, I'm a big fan of JoJo that married Wyndham Rotunda because she seems like trouble.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of trouble. You catch my drift.
Mhm.
Anyway, all right, well, that was a lot. So let's go to the gentleman. And Zol, I'm going to tell you, I have a feeling I know the answer is going to be on all of them, but we're going to give you the benefit of the doubt here, and we're going to say them anyway. So, gentlemen, we got Howard Finkel. Everybody's desirable Howard Finkel. Dave Penzer. Did I say that right?
Mhm.
And Justin Roberts.
No
Devin?
Chimmel?
I know, right? That's what I was thinking. I know then. What do you got, Devin?
All right, so I'm just gonna have to ask you to repeat the three again.
Oh my god.
I was looking up Dave Penzer. I know Dave Penzer, Justin
Why are you looking him up?
Roberts.
You know he had a show on AFS.
I didn't watch it.
I just do the same thing. Thank you. Now I don't feel so bad.
I thought we were wrestling fans here.
This seems very one-sided. I mean, we all know Pretty Boy Floyd's going to pretty much run a sweep on this, you know?
You know
All
what?
right.
I'm going to take that into consideration. Some different things into consideration here. All right, go ahead, Devin. We're going to say Justin Roberts, Dave Penzer, Howard Finkel.
All right, so Howard Finkel, I'm gonna start with him. I gotta marry Howard Finkel. He's freaking the greatest.
All right.
I love Howard. You can never hate him. You wake up with a smile every day. So I'll marry Howard Finkel. Dave Penzer, I'm gonna have to kick him to the curb. I'm sorry. And Justin Roberts, he's the youngest and cutest of them all. So come here, we're fucking, I guess.
Mike Whitaker.
I'm gonna go the same. I'm marrying Howard because, you know, he's made some pretty good money in his life, and somebody needs to get that check. So, I'm marrying him. Justin Roberts, the pretty boy, so you know, I'll give it to him. He can give it to me, whichever, you know. And Dave is gone. Sorry, Dave.
For Dave. All right, the dynamic duo of Adam from the U-Haul. I'm going to say it.
Thank you.
And Frank, the
I'm gonna
tank.
let Frank go first.
All right, I can do
Hi,
it.
Frank.
All right, so I'm gonna kill Penzer because he's a little whiny to me. I'm gonna marry Howard just so every morning I can hear "Oh no!" And I mean, Justin Roberts is dreamy, so I'll have to do him.
All right, Frank.
That was easy.
I'm agreeing with Frank. That's my three. Because you just can't kill Howard Finkel. I think that's just like a national treasure. You're not allowed to kill Finkel. Just a process of elimination. I'm sorry. And I'm effing Justin Roberts every day. He's a handsome man.
He is a handsome man.
He's the dapper yapper, baby.
Dapper Yapper.
Yeah.
Write it down. That's a shirt. That's a shirt. He's a Dapper Yapper. James?
I guess I'm going to marry Finkel, but y'all are missing it though, because you know when you get down and dirty with Finkel, he can be like, "You are an X-rated superstar." So you know you missed that one. So I'm going with Finkel on the marry. Penzer does lose due to you know, elimination because he's dead, and I've met Justin Roberts before. You know, he's a really nice guy. He's really friendly and everything. So, but because he's Pretty Boy Floyd, you know, he's getting it. He's getting the pounding.
All right, Lindsay.
You guys are doing it wrong.
Okay. I've been told that my whole life.
So you guys like Justin Roberts so much, but you won't keep him around? Like, I would marry Justin Roberts, but I could have that every day. Because let me tell you something. He tweeted at me when I made cupcakes for him last month. He tweeted at me and like made that public, which is like everything to me. I've met him a couple of times. He's one of the best, like, coolest guys ever. So I'm marrying that because I'm not going to get rid of that. I want that every day. So Dave Penzer, I think I'm just going to kill because I don't even know who it is. And then Howard Finkel, I mean, hey, let's go.
All right. So I've been thinking about this, and I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and fuck Dave Penzer. The guy needs a good dick. So that ain't me. That ain't me, but it's the best option he's got out of this group right now because none of
you're doing a service too. Good for you, Brad. Philanthropy right there.
And I'm going to kill Justin Roberts because he's just going to play me. He's just going to play me anyway. Exactly. And I am definitely going to marry Howard Finkel like the rest of us, or at least most of us, Lindsay, because Howard invented WrestleMania. And if there's anybody to sit around and watch wrestling and enjoy the rest of your life with, I think it's Howard Finkel. So anyway, thank you to Zoll for picking those. We do have more coming ahead. Just he was the first one, and that's the way it went down. But guess what? Adam from Bama wants to do a segment now. He changed his mind.
It's called a swerve, bro.
Oh. What the hell?
Yeah. So I put a lot, and I mean weeks and weeks of thought into this.
Freaking asshole.
Like weeks of thought. And so what I'm going to do is I want to start doing like a corny joke segment. I want people to send me their corny jokes. The cornier, the better. So as soon as I sent the tweet out last week, this one actually came from Licks, which is Allison's son. And the joke is, why do cows wear bells?
Repeat it, Adam.
It says, the joke is, this is from Licks. This is Allison's son. The joke is, why do cows wear bells?
Please, just because their horns don't work, you asshole.
That's exactly right. Because their horns don't work.
I like it.
And then Sean Jones sent me one. This is from Sean Jones, you know, friend of the show. He says, "Oh, I have a joke about cherries, but it's pitiful."
Yeah.
So thank you, Lex, Sean Jones. I'm gonna read a couple every show, so I want people to send me their corny jokes. The cornier, the better. And no,
I have
corny,
about 12 million. I'll send them to you.
That's fine, and I'll give you this. I'll give you the shout out and everything every time you do. And no, James Sorensen, when I say corny, that doesn't mean corny like Nebraska. I mean corny as in funny. So that's just for James.
Love it.
Real quick, James, I forgot to by the way, great job there, Adam. I appreciate all the time and effort that went into that. It's great. So yeah, keep up the good work. We like ourselves some good dad corny jokes. There was a question that came in that was related to the last match or the first match, so I thought I'd ask it.
We always do that.
Yeah, we
love our questions from our fans.
And we forget to ask them.
Get to them eventually in the episode.
I begged for them for like 3 days, and then I get them, and I'm like, forget all about them every single time. So anyway, this is from, oh shit. It's probably Brian Haremza. Let's just go with that. This is from the Hard to Kill match. Some people, Jim, we already answered this, but we're gonna give a shout out. Bryant's the man, and I love the way Matt Hardy said it the other day. Hello, Bryant. He said some people, Jim Ross, are not a fan of intergender match wrestling. What are you guys' take on it, and are you a fan of it? Lindsay, you gave us your take on it. Coach gave us his take on it. What did you think, Devin? We didn't even get to you on that.
I think it's honestly gotta be built correctly. Like we didn't really see Tessa Blanchard's title reign going too long. The pandemic came shortly, so we don't know who she would have faced. But like you kind of alluded to, if we'd have put Tessa Blanchard up against someone like Brian Cage or Moose, like I feel like she'd have gotten destroyed and it wouldn't have looked good. So I feel like it's got to be under certain circumstances in order to be, to be accepted.
What do you guys think, Mike?
Kind of like Devin said, it depends on who it is. China, she did real good with it. I think Beth Phoenix might have been right there. Maybe not with the top guys, but maybe with more mid-card size guys. I think she would have done good. And like even now, I think we got Ripley. I think she would do good in like in a match like that, just from her size and her ability to do anything. And maybe Charlotte, but I really wouldn't. I think that would kind of mess up her own thing that she has if she started doing stuff like that.
How about you, James?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Tessa beat Brian Cage to get that title match against Sammy?
I can correct you all day. I don't know.
No, she just answered, like, as soon as Sami Callahan won the title, he was celebrating in the middle of the steel cage, and Tessa just ran down.
Didn't she have to win something against him?
Oh, maybe. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it now. Now that you're
at home,
talking about it.
Anyway, I didn't know that either, James. So.
No, but yeah, I'm not real crazy about intergender matches. It doesn't strike me as like, I mean, I don't necessarily watch it as a man beating a woman, but I do now that people mention it, and you go back and look at some stuff. It is kind of strange to watch a dude just like fucking throw a right cross like right against a woman's face. So I get that, but I'm not real crazy about them. Yeah, they don't like if I see one and it's promoted good, because I even remember when that one was promoted to heavy, I was like, oh, okay, she's probably going to win it, and I'm probably not going to watch it, So I'm not crazy about intergender matches.
How about you, Adam?
I don't mind an intergender match if it's, like I said, I've said before, as long as it's done right, if it's built right. It's got to be believable to me. Sami Callahan being a shorter guy, even though he's kind of a bigger guy, him versus Tessa is pretty believable to me. Like James said, anything with Rhea Ripley, Charlotte, I believe they can hang with a lot of the men. Nia Jax, Bianca Belair.
You're breaking up, bud. So we'll come back to you on that. But I will say this: my opinion of this is it just depends on. It's got to be believable. It just has to be believable. I felt the Sammy Tessa match was believable. It doesn't bother me. I hope this doesn't come off wrong, but it doesn't bother me the hitting each other because they asked for the match and they asked for it. It's not. They asked to fight. It isn't. I don't know. I don't know how to phrase it to not sound wrong, but anyway, I don't hate it. I don't hate it, but I don't think it needs to be all the time. But I mean, Lindsey and I would hope that you don't find this offensive. Men are built differently than women, and it just needs to be believable to me. That's all. I mean, that's.
I completely agree with you. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Brian, we spent way more time on that than I thought. So, I guess we're going into me again. Wow. Okay. So I just wanted to briefly talk a little bit about the first WWE All Women's Pay-Per-View. So on July 23rd, 2018, episode of Monday Night Raw, WWE executive Stephanie McMahon announced for the first time WWE would hold an all women's pay-per-view. It was called WWE Evolution, took place October 28th, 2018 at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Uniondale, New York. Just briefly to go through it, just the participants on the match, it was all women's, and not just all women as in all women wrestling, but also an all women's announce team. You had, where the hell is it? I wrote it down. Paige, Renee Young, and Beth Phoenix as the commentators. As far as ring announcers, you had Lillian Garcia, JoJo, and James' own Caleb Braxton. So, and then you also had Aubrey Edwards here, who's now in AEW as a referee, and Jessica Carr. Rhea Ripley defeated Dakota Kai by pinfall for the NXT UK Women's Championship. So you had NXT, you had NXT UK, you had SmackDown and Raw all representing. Trish Stratus and Lita, and Mickie James and Alicia Fox all in a match together, which is great. You know, a callback to the Attitude Era and also to Ruthless Aggression Era. Nia Jax won a 20-woman battle royal, last eliminating Ember Moon. Toni Storm for the Mae Young Classic, defeating Io Shirai. Then you had a 6-woman tag match of Sasha Banks, Bayley, Natalya defeating the Riot Squad, who I loved at the time. Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan. By the way, shout out to Liv Morgan. So happy for her. She can really do something, I feel, with the division. I think people will root for her to defend. Shayna Baszler defeating Kairi Sane for the NXT Women's Championship. And Becky Lynch defeated Charlotte Flair for the Last Woman Standing Championship for SmackDown. And Ronda Rousey defeating Nikki Bella with Brie Bella by submission for the Raw Women's Championship. And if you watch this pay-per-view at the end, even though Charlotte lost, she's the happiest person of them all. They're all hugging at the end. This was a great moment. And, you know, like we keep saying, we want this to be the norm, stuff like this, but it was a breakthrough in 2018 for sure. A couple other things before we move on to the last match I want to mention that we didn't mention earlier. I want to talk about Jordynne Grace for a moment. Jordynne Grace is the current Impact Championship. And as if you're watching Impact at all, Lindsey, you know, she is plus size and has really developed into more of a power lifter, different than the feminine norm, as we like to say on here. And also, she is doing a lot of intergender wrestling. She had the Digital Media Championship and was wrestling our buddy Matt Cardona for quite a while there. So she's breaking down walls as well. And like, again, she had a big body transformation, but yet she's still, beefy and not the feminine norm. And then I have to talk about one more thing, and then we can go on. The street match with Tay Conti and Anna Jay. So, I have to mention her. I know Devin's in love with her. She's only second to Erica. Tay and Jay versus Penelope Ford and the Bunny in the street match. As good as Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker was, this was just almost as good to me. These women came out ready to fight. It just wasn't, again, what we think of as a normal women's match. The look in Penelope Ford's eyes says it all. So those are just some other things I wanted to mention about the women's revolution and how things have changed.
Fun fact, that's the last match that Tay Conti has had on TV.
That was 2021.
Yep, back in December.
Yeah, that is. So is she hurt?
Nope.
He's just
I have no idea what's going on.
To being a girlfriend on the show. That's great. That's a great step forward in the women's revolution.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I mentioned it, Devin. I'm sorry I mentioned it. That's all I had on that, James.
Yeah, well, thank you for putting Ty in there. Giving Ty and Sammy a plug as usual on our show. Yeah, he was a little dull.
You like that match though, James? Didn't you like that match?
I do remember what you're talking about, but yeah, I mean, it was decent. That was before they came out and just started making out all over TV all the time.
Yes,
so
it definitely was, and it stood out to me. And I know it doesn't fit into the show, but when we're talking about changing, I just thought it was worth mentioning.
Is it time to get into the Starrcade 97 Sting versus Hogan? Is that what we're doing next?
You've been waiting to say that.
This main event. Should I do the intro first? Or should I get this out of the way? Because it's been bugging me.
It's your show. So.
All right. So I was on the Becky Lynch, the Man story. Loved it. Thought it was awesome. It breathed life into wrestling. And it happened to be a woman's angle that was doing it. This was the talk of the wrestling business. Not a man anything. This was the thing. Becky Lynch is the man come up. Fucking amazing stuff. Really loved it. And you had the whole world talking. And, we get to a year-long story. It's a build-up. Everybody knows what's going to happen. They want it to happen. And then we get there, and it's ruined by a fucking count. Which is very similar to Sting versus the NWO, ruined by a count at Starrcade 97. So I love that Becky Lynch won this match. Spoiler, sorry. But
he did?
The build-up was so good to this, and the finish was just, and everybody talks about, whoa, was her shoulders down? Like, can I just give Becky her due? It's a great story. And if you wonder what we're talking about, it is the granddaddy of them all. And this is the first major main event, of the WrestleMania for the women. And a lot of people do like to shit on WWE about stuff, but when they do a first ever something like this, it's pretty much what sets the tone for everything. So to have this three-way is a big deal. The three participants are Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, and Charlotte Flair. It was from WrestleMania 35. That was April 7th, 2019. As of right now, the last one-day Mania. It took place in MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, where two terrible football teams play. And the attendance was 82,265. Match length was 21 and a half minutes. Meltzer gave it 3 stars, which the match consisted of 3 stars. Had to get that one in there. Thought of that one earlier. And the announcers are Renee Young, Corey Graves, and Michael Cole. So that is a good little, intro into it. And I'll kick it on over to Mike. So take it away, buddy.
Well, this one right here started at the Royal Rumble. Going into the Royal Rumble, Becky was the SmackDown Women's Champion, and she lost that night to Asuka. She would later on enter into the Royal Rumble match, replacing Lana, who was injured at the time. And she would go ahead and win the Royal Rumble, last eliminating Charlotte Flair. When Becky came out, she picked Ronda Rousey since she did not get to have the match with her at Survivor Series. Now, remember, that time was when Becky had a concussion. That's when Nia Jax punched her in the face and busted her nose all open and everything else. And she happened to pick Charlotte to take her place in that match. So it's nice that she's in there. Becky came out and she ended up having a knee injury from the Royal Rumble. And Stephanie and Triple H were getting on to her about it, wanted to get checked out, and she would never get checked out. So they suspended her until she got cleared to wrestle. She would go on and keep interfering in matches with Ronda Rousey and Charlotte. And she finally got cleared. She came back, and because of all that stuff, Vince suspended her. He said he didn't like her attitude, and that's when he gave the spot to Charlotte. Becky would go on to attack both Charlotte and Ronda in the coming weeks. Ronda would come out and she'd be mad, and she was wanting her into the match. So she laid down the Raw's Women's title to Stephanie, and I guess Stephanie took it as in she was giving up the title. And she made a match with Becky versus Charlotte at Fastlane for the Raw Women's title. Ronda would come back to say that she wasn't forfeiting title, nothing else. So they changed the match to where if Becky won, she was added into the triple threat match for the Raw Women's title. And right after that, Charlotte beat Asuka for the SmackDown title. So that way, and that's how it became a winner takes all match. And
Thank you for that. Are you good, Mike? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
yeah, that's it. That's what I was just going through notes. That's it.
All right. Awesome, Mike. Thank you so much for that. So, yes, winner take all match. So let's talk about what James talked about for a minute here about when WWE gets it right, they freaking get it right. Charlotte and the helicopter. Coach, I was going to ask you. Bye. You're not here. All right. The crowd is wooing. The red carpet with the robe. Charlotte's entrance, absolutely spectacular. But, Mike, I wanted to ask you, and I know you just finished talking. You probably need a sip of water. But at this point, with this match, with these three women, I mean, Charlotte has already been a multi-time champion. Was she the underdog here tonight?
Ooh, I guess you can say she was, because Becky was getting that push, so she was way up there. Ronda's already up there as the baddest woman on the planet. Me personally didn't like her at the time, but I would say she would be the underdog out of the three of these.
And did she show any sign of that in her entrance, or the helicopter, or anything?
She came out with pride.
That's fantastic. And that's something like I've been hearing all week about, or last 2 weeks, about how Liv Morgan, everybody knew she was going to win from her entrance. I'm like, okay, because she was super happy. It was the most big, freaking, by the way, it was Bully Ray, who's already pissed at me because I like his wife or girlfriend. Mm-hmm. But, but they say sometimes you can tell the WWE superstar wrestler when they come out if they're going to win or lose. I have a tough time seeing that, and maybe I just don't want to know. But I definitely say you saw no sign that you knew Charlotte was going to lose, and I think everybody in this room, in this Zoom room, knew that Charlotte, it was either going to be Becky or Ronda, one or the other. Now, Lindsey, I want to ask you, and this actually comes from Bryant Haremza, but I think this is a great question for you. Do you think these women could have main evented without Ronda?
I do, because like you said, Charlotte was super in her game at the moment. Becky was definitely on her way up. I think that they didn't really need Ronda, and I feel like some people might think that she kind of was pushed to the top immediately, and she probably didn't deserve to be there. I feel like I've heard that before. I totally think they could have done it without her.
Okay. Now, let me ask you, Adam. This match actually started after midnight. Did that hurt this main event?
Oh God, yes. See, because if I remember right, when I was watching it, it was 5 hours and 30 something minutes. A 5-hour pay-per-view was way too long.
I definitely agree with that. Ronda's music came out. She came out to Joan Jett, which I mean is the singer, but I thought that was interesting. James is shaking his head as in he thinks it's complete bullshit. What's the problem?
No, I like Joan Jett. I do. I really do. I just hate that Rousey comes out to that theme. I really do. I like the song.
Why is that?
I don't know. Maybe it's just over time, just gotten a little bitter about it. I give a damn about reputation. I'm like, oh fuck, yeah, here comes Rousey. Like,
I'm not a fan.
I like the song. I don't know.
What was that, Lindsey?
It just seems immature to me. It seems like somebody from high school who's like trying to be like the cool person would sing a song like that to me. Like, as much as I love that song and I love Joan Jett, I feel like it's she should be a little bit tougher, I guess.
Yeah.
An opinion for me. The reason I think they do it is I think it's for kids. That's just what I think. And
let me tell you, my daughter is obsessed with Ronda Rousey. She's begging me already here at June or July that she wants to be Ronda Rousey for Halloween. Like, she's all in on Ronda Rousey, everything. So I get your point there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really a fan of Ronda at all. Like, I'm not. She's okay. I don't dislike her, but I just feel that way. But what did you think, Devin, of Becky's entrance and how over she was with the crowd?
Becky was over. She's the man. Everyone wanted Becky to go over in this match, and they were just excited as soon as she came out. I was too. I was going nuts at midnight on the couch. I remember it. I had Monday off the next day. I was watching it.
I already knew what James' answer was there. That's why I was asking you, Devin, because I know that this guy, like, his last name is now Lynch, for this episode alone.
James Lynch.
I mean, I like a good storyline buildup, like the Renegade Outlaw, they both had black t-shirts with, sayings on them. They defied the authority suspended them. They fought back through it, doesn't really remind me of anybody in particular, just,
No, Texas redneck.
Yeah, maybe.
But it's also an organic build like Daniel Bryan. Yeah. Because the fans willed this into existence for Becky. So I always go back to that because that's one of my favorite things.
She came out to attack Charlotte, and when she did, I think it was like SummerSlam or whatever, whenever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, the crowd just cheered the shit out of her.
And not only that, when she broke her nose because of Nia Jax, that getting hurt, I mean, the fans, I mean, and then, but when she attacked Charlotte, she's supposed to be a heel.
Yep.
Would not accept it. She even started insulting the fans, like, yeah, fuck that. Woo!
I was there in the Barclays Center when she turned heel. That was awesome.
they were not allowing. They were not accepting that. They were going to cheer for her. They didn't care what she did, no matter what she did. She could have killed a puppy up there. It wouldn't have mattered.
Well, it felt like she was going to get her comeuppance against Charlotte.
Sorry, Lindsey.
That's what it felt like.
I like dogs too. So, Lindsey, all right. So again, this will be it. I promise. But as a woman yourself, This is the first women's WrestleMania main event. Do you think these women realize what's going on in their heads? Are they nervous? What would you be feeling at that time?
Oh my gosh, I'd be so nervous. And I relate this to Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair from, I think maybe last year or the year before. I loved it. I was crying right along with them when they started crying in the ring. Like when the bell rang and the moment like it was actually happening, I kind of feel like that's how I would feel because I'm a pretty emotional person. So I can't imagine what it's like for them to even walk down the ramp, let alone get in the ring, and then to have a winner, like to know that you're the winner of that match. Like I'm jumping ahead, but like that's super cool. The fact that this is the first time ever that women have main events at a WrestleMania. That's a pretty huge deal in my opinion, and I definitely know that they were feeling that all day.
Do we remember who was the opening match that night? Anybody?
Oh,
Was it the
Seth and Brock, wasn't it?
So just think of that. Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar took a backseat to these ladies. I think that's a pretty freaking big deal. It's a big deal for anybody, let alone, a first women's main event.
Yeah,
So
didn't Roman just come back from leukemia too? Because he was in that tag against like Drew, I think.
Yeah, maybe was he not quite ready to do a match by himself? Was that what it was? Something like
I
that?
think it was. Was he solo or was it a tag? Because I remember it was just like right after he came back too.
Yeah. So just not bad at all there.
See, Brock Lesnar has the mindset: if you don't main event, then you open the show.
Well, that's what
Those are
Heyman
the
said,
best
right?
spots to be.
Heyman said since we're not main eventing, Brock just wants to go the hell home or something. Like
Yeah.
I'm not exact there with that quote, but it was something like that. So all right. So commentators tonight, James, were Renee Young at the time, Renee Paquette, Michael Cole, and Corey Graves. What did you think of this dynamic trio?
I liked it. I really dug it. Because a lot of the stuff in that I had, taking the notes of it was they go good with each other. Like they flow back and forth really good. They hammer home that women's main event, which I kind of like. They didn't do too much of it, but they would intertwine it, in between stuff. They talk about like the no disqualification stuff. There was one part where Rhonda said, tables are for bitches, she threw the table.
Yeah, I got that here.
And Cole, like Rhonda said she doesn't need a table, and Renee's like, it's not quite what she said. I thought that was pretty good. But yeah, like I just like Cole does his thing, popping for the spots and everything. The other two do their baby face and heel type stuff. When one person would mention something about someone, the other two would like reiterate that in the heel or baby face like comment too. It was just a really good flow. I like the ebb and flow between those three.
I had in my notes, Mark Cole seemed kind of hoarse, like his voice was almost done at the time. Yeah. And I was listening, and it was kind of hard to tell, but I don't think he was in it as much in this. Like he was in it, but he didn't talk as much in this match as he would normally. But if he's out there for 5 hours, he's gonna
plus
get
the
tired.
2-hour pre-show.
Yeah.
Yes, plus the pre-show. But
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I mean, he wasn't into it because he was hoarse. There's 5 hours.
You can tell when they were in the entrance that he was hoarse in it.
Very for sure. I mean, we should let him know on Twitter or something like that about it. That'd be great, wouldn't it? So, Adam, bunch of questions for you about Ronda, and then one quick one about Becky. What did you think? The aggressiveness of Ronda in this match, is she underrated as an in-ring worker? And do you actually do you think she's underrated? Let's just start there. Do you think she's underrated as an in-ring worker?
Underrated, no. But at the same time, she has come a long way in the short time she's been there. Because you got to realize she didn't have a whole lot of training when she come in, and they pushed her straight to the top. So I don't think she's underrated because they know her value, they know her name value. But as far as they gave her the belt, she handled it good. I like her first run better than the second run. But as far as her aggressiveness, this run was better than the current one she's doing now. But definitely not underrated by no means.
Okay. What do you think of the Becky disarmor?
I like it because it looks like it really hurts.
Okay, good. Good answer. So you chop like a bitch, Ronda to Charlotte. Mike, did this excite you, or did you think she was taking it too far in a PG era?
Well, she was kind of taking it too far, but she played too much of a heel. It was too much of a character for me with her being heel.
Okay. Do you agree with that, Lindsey?
I do. I kind of feel like should have spoken for herself, how she reacted. She really shouldn't have had to say anything, if that makes sense.
All right, so we have Becky Chance, James, nonstop throughout this match. I mean, was there any shot at all that Becky doesn't win this match?
I didn't think so. I thought the build, you don't, that's a big build for that. And I know that they do this anti-crescendo stuff all the time, but she was moving merch. I mean, it was, everybody was saying it was Stone Cold-esque. Like, you have to give that and see where it goes. Because obviously she's selling a bunch of stuff. She's packing the houses. She was kind of their hottest commodity at that time, and that's with Brock and Seth, you know?
Yeah, definitely true. Definitely true. And like I said before, I think this is a lot like the Daniel Bryan. Like, there was no way Daniel Bryan didn't win WrestleMania 30 to me. No way at all, especially with him having to earn his way into the match and stuff like that. And Becky kind of having to earn her way into this as well. It would have been a huge letdown for the WWE universe for sure. So, all right, so we have the Beck-Sploder off the top rope by Becky to Charlotte. I can't believe I had to say that. The Beck-Sploder by Becky. Pretty redundant, huh, guys? Ronda looking to pin both. Freaking arrogant bitch. Woman off the top rope. And a double arm bar. Now, Mike, we have an alliance. What did you think of that?
I liked it. The 3 power bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good.
Now, Devin, though, was there any point in this match where you're starting to get a little bored?
Bored? No.
No?
I enjoyed most
in the
of the
middle
match.
a little bit? No?
I mean, it's stretched
I did
out.
a little bit.
It's
Okay.
stretched out at times when they're just kept going for a pin there. And then there was just one of them selling, the other 2 would kick out of pins, then the other would sell, then the other 2 would kick out of pins. So, I mean, I get there was a slowdown point in it, but I think it picked back up pretty quick.
I'll tell you where things get confusing. Ronda crawling to the rope for the break, but there is no rope break. And I think there gets to be confusion sometimes when you're in these wrestling matches of what the rules are and what they're not. Can someone please explain to me why a triple threat match is no DQ? I don't know. Can someone explain to me, anybody at all, why you're allowed to use a chair or bring other people in to a triple threat match? I don't understand. I understand those 3 women fighting together, but why is it no DQ every single time in WWE if it's a triple threat match? Anybody have a good answer for that?
No.
No? Okay.
And also, why is it that if it is a triple threat match, that you don't see like chairs and tables and all of that in every single triple threat match?
Right. Why don't you just bring your whole team there? Like, hey, get mom, get dad, everybody come down to the freaking ring. Like, it's the most ridiculous thing. Like, yes, all 3 of them are allowed to do what they want. There can't be really a count out. That doesn't make sense. But you shouldn't be allowed to use weapons, and you shouldn't be allowed to bring other people in. I don't understand why that's not the rule.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. So there was at first I said, what was that move from Charlotte off the top? And it was the Spanish Fly. Great move. Ronda's leg was bruised, Adam. Do you think that was legit, or do you think that was just paint, or what?
I don't think that was legit because she did that one move where she was kind of hanging upside down with Charlotte, and Becky drop kicked her. And if you'll watch, her hip hits the apron before she hits the floor. So I think she was really hurt.
We saw a preview of WrestleMania 36 in Tampa. Does anybody remember where WrestleMania 36 actually took place?
PC.
At the Performance Center.
I mean, seeing stuff like this is just knowing. Like, I feel like we can predict the future. Like, we're like, oh no, that didn't happen. So anyway, figure 8 to Ronda from Charlotte. Always a tremendous move for me. Broke up by Becky. Leg drop off the top. Becky chants again. Now there's a table in the ring. Fans booing Ronda. She doesn't need a table, like you said, James. Why are they booing her for taking the table away?
Because they want to see the spot, man. It's Mania.
Do you think these counts were too close, James? Like the 3 counts, were they just too close?
It loses it after a little bit, after a while. Because you want that definitive 1, 2, 3. So if you just if you kind of rush a bunch of it, you just 1, 2, 1, 2. You can only do that so often.
Devin, who are you rooting for in this match?
Becky Lynch, all the way.
Is everybody here rooting for Becky Lynch in that match?
She was the man.
Right?
I know,
We're in that black and yellow.
Yeah. So Charlotte Flair into the table that didn't break. Adam, how many tables have you tried to go through that didn't break? As an in-ring performer.
I actually One of my last matches, I went through a table that didn't break, and I hyperextended my knee. I jumped from a ladder onto the table, and it didn't break. So actually, one of my last matches was a table that did not break, and it sucks.
So
I
overall,
am the table. Shut up, Matthew.
James, you kind of, we already talked about this end of this match, of course. Were the commentators confused?
No.
Or is this a setup?
Possibly.
Now, I recently heard Ronda on their Kurt Angle show.
Listen how quick that music hits, though. That music is automatic.
But what was the purpose of not being clean?
The world's most dangerous woman, ain't gonna. It's the protection thing.
Then when did she come back? 3 years later?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
And she just took a pin from Money in the Bank, Liv Morgan, like a roll up.
Yeah.
I don't know. So anyway, if just to revisit this, Becky gets the pin. The shoulder was definitely up by Ronda. The commentators make a whole thing about it that Ronda's shoulder wasn't down. There's going to be more to talk about tomorrow. But guess what? There wasn't more to talk about tomorrow because Ronda didn't come back for 3 years. So it just ended. And then Ronda recently on the Kurt Angle show said, well, at least it's a reason for something to happen. But it didn't happen because, why didn't she face her right away instead of Charlotte Flair? And when she comes back, she's facing Charlotte. It's just weird, man. It was a weird ending. But however, Mike, were you surprised Ronda took the pin to begin with? Did you expect from a triple threat match for Charlotte to get pinned?
That's what I was thinking. I didn't think they would pin Ronda like that, but I guess they try to surprise us.
Right.
There's so many layers to that, though. Like, also, you don't want to, because what if you knew Ronda was probably leaving, so you don't want to, you're one of your people to take the pin if they're staying. So, yeah, you do want to pin Ronda. But it's like they protected Ronda with the whole shoulder thing.
They did.
It's weird. Like, it's so weird.
I have a theory behind that.
Oh, great.
So I watched Ronda Rousey post weekly vlogs, and back, what year was this? 2021? So, or 2019?
That's all.
I looked at the wrong year. So 3 years ago, I was watching her vlogs at the time and stuff. And I remembered that she posted a post Wrestlemania vlog. So I went back and watched this earlier today, actually. And she said that she was originally only signed to WWE for a 6-month contract, but they brought up the idea right before SummerSlam of the all-women's main event at WrestleMania and pretty much coaxed her into staying. So I think maybe with her having her shoulder not be down, Vince might have been trying to bring her back a little bit, but she was just in no condition to return at all. So
who can we ask?
Well, actually, I heard I can't remember. I heard it on something that she said or I read it, but she did say that she turned over too much, that it wasn't supposed to happen that way.
Yeah,
and since it did, she kind of played into it. But I guess when she did it, she kind of kicked it a little too much, made it look like it, something, I don't know. But she did take the heat for it. She took the blame.
I think you're right, Mike. I think you're right because the way she kind of explained on the Kurt Angle show, I felt like she was almost apologizing for it.
Right, yeah, it might have been the Kurt Angle show I heard it on that she said it, that she didn't mean to do it, and when it happened, she just kind of played it.
But if that's the case, would the commentators be in on that? That's where it gets confusing to me. The commentators make the whole thing about it, and do they know? JR says he doesn't know, but do they know? I don't know anymore. So I guess that's where. What do you think, Lindsey?
I mean, like you said, the music played so quickly, and obviously that was supposed to be the finish. But why would the referee even count? Is I guess my deep down question. Because if you can see it, you're supposed to do your job. You're supposed to not count if your shoulders are up. So that's my biggest question. But it was super confusing, the fact that the commentators are playing into it and had the look on Ronda's face afterwards, and the fact that nobody acknowledged it and they just kept letting Becky celebrate, and the whole thing. It was very confusing.
Don't get me started on that bullshit about them counting about the shoulders not being down. We go through this on almost every match. We had a Kurt Angle versus Eddie Guerrero match where they were basically wrapped up in the ropes and freaking Kurt Angle's like this and they counted the pin. I mean, that drives me crazy. That makes you wonder too, do the refs are just supposed to count and that's it? So
right.
I totally agree. But the problem here is we're trying to talk about the women's revolution, and we're talking about the women's first WrestleMania main event. And what are we doing? We're talking about the problems with it. But the bottom line is this: We had 3 great athletes in the main event of WrestleMania that deserved to be there. The shame it was after midnight. It was a shame that it had a weird ending. But in the end, I don't think it's the last time because right now, like we said before, we have women main eventing all the time on Raw and SmackDown in the main event. So we're not just heading in the right direction. I think we're almost completely there. I think we're almost completely there. So James, we have some fan questions, but I know Adam's kind of has to get out of here. Right, Adam? So if you wanted to say bye, Adam, I'm done with my questions for you because the in-ring work's done, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's fine because I know Frank's getting tired. He's been driving ever since we left Rhode Island. He's drove. So
Well,
it's
who's
my
told
turn
you
to take
that?
over.
Why couldn't you time it better? You know you had a freaking show to tape.
He told me to do the show and then drive.
Yeah, you know what? See, whatever you're doing, it's just not good because you're sitting. All you're doing is riding bitch, you know, and you're acting like, you know, you're doing so much there. You're just sitting in a seat. All right.
It takes hard work to sit here and look this good.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Give the shout out to the girl that you're not dating. Go.
Wow. Okay, we're putting it out
I've
there
already
like
said
that.
it on the show 3 times.
I'm not dating nobody right now.
Shout out to someone special. She knows who she is.
There we
No
go.
big
That's
deal,
better.
Nothing major. Nothing like that. All right.
Lindsey, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for being awesome as always.
Guys, y'all have a good one. I'll get with y'all in the group chat.
All right.
So bye, Frank.
Goodbye, Frank.
Later, Frank.
Bye.
Bye, Adam.
Hey, guys.
That's
So,
Adam on Twitter. Adam _ from _ the U-Haul.
So, James, we do have a couple more things to go to. Do you want me to do the questions first, or do you want to do the other stuff?
Burn
Or
through
is
the
there anything
questions.
else on this match? All right. Hey guys, anything else on this match? I think we're good. What do you want to do, James? It's your show, buddy.
What are the questions?
All right, because they're all pertaining to the women's revolution of WWE, and they're mostly Brian Haremza. I don't even want to ask this bullshit Money Mike question. It just says Charlotte Flair is the greatest of all time, citing specific examples. Mike, could you imagine being in this kid's class right now? He's teaching school. He's going to give everybody an F because there's no specific example. Yes, Mike. Charlotte's awesome. Dude, what are you doing over there, Devin? What are you doing?
I should enroll in Money Mike's class. I
All
just
right.
thought of that.
You should.
You can go undercover.
All right, so this is a very, very good question from Brian Haremza, who's got the other 2 questions as well. Other than, well, you got a million questions too, Devin. I don't know if we got time for 7 more questions over there. You can ask 2, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, other than the horsewomen, who do you feel has been a breakout star of the women's division during the women's revolution? Brian Haremza. Go ahead, Lindsey.
Well, that's a tough one because I'm not all the way caught up in that. That's a tough one. I think you might have to come back to me on that one.
All right, fine. Mike?
Let's see, he was all there. What about Alexa Bliss? She was around that area.
100%.
She was there.
I wonder why
Natalie
you
can't,
I was waiting for that answer, pal.
because he's all tied. Natalie kind of came out a lot more when this happened.
Who?
She was already Natalie.
Yeah.
She was already there, but she helped she was there from the beginning and helped push him, and she was there to bring him out too. So you can say
Did you
she
say
came out
Natalie?
too. Yes.
Natalia or
Oh,
Natalie?
Natalia, whatever her name. Yeah, Natalie. That's what I
You
mean.
don't want to be corrected on
Whatever.
Twitter,
Whatever. Yeah, I'll be corrected. But Alexa Bliss, that's my answer. Alexa Bliss.
All right, go ahead, Devin.
Yeah, I feel like Alexa Bliss, Carmella, kinda. She was the Money in the Bank.
Whatever.
Ellsworth, sir, was Money in the Bank.
Well, all right, yeah. I don't know. We touched on Nia Jax a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
She's the one that broke Becky's nose at right before the Survivor Series. I think she's pretty influential in this era.
All right.
Dangerous.
All right, James.
Yeah, I guess Alexa, if we're talking WWE style, I really don't, maybe, yeah, Alexa and Nia. I can't really remember anybody else that was like over.
I mean, there's I have someone, but That's all right. Go ahead, Lindsay.
So don't kill me, but I feel like my answer would be Nikki Bella because before the Revolution and going into the start of the Revolution, she was the champ for, I think, the longest reigning champ at that point. So if her injury hadn't happened, I feel like she would have been right there with all of them anyway. So that would be my answer.
Listen, you're never going to get an argument from me about Nikki Bella. Never at all.
Good.
I mean, gosh, we cannot leave Ronda out.
I knew you were gonna go there. I knew it.
I don't think that main event happens without her, and I know that that's not a popular opinion, but I don't think it is because she was so mainstream to me. I could be wrong, but I think without her, it maybe doesn't happen. However, let's not forget also about Asuka.
Yeah,
she's not, again, what everyone thinks about with the divas and the models of before. She's different, and the funny thing about her is I don't know what her language barrier is, if it is or if it's an act or what, but she plays that off and still gets a crowd reaction even though she doesn't really speak much English. So she does a great job. That would be my answer to that. So what else does he ask? Of the 4 horsewomen, I have one answer for this. You have a different answer, James. The other 2, I don't know. Of the 4 horsewomen, who do you think has had the better career to this point?
Oh, at that point in particular,
I think it's now. I think we're talking
Charlotte. What do you mean?
Yeah,
Totally.
Yeah, come on.
I know. I mean, Brian, we love you, but that's a stupid ass question. No,
You don't think Becky could be up there with her?
Who? Becky?
Becky.
You can say that she's over more than Charlotte, but you can't say she. I mean, that's a great answer, Mike. But I mean, she doesn't win the championships. That's my point. Just the championships. Not that means anything really, but she's gonna beat her dad, right? Of course, her dad's adding.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course she is.
Her dad's adding him now. He's bringing. By the way, it really is 21. Whatever.
Right.
By the way, you've been listening to his show.
I like 2
The
of them.
first 2.
Okay, I listened to the one where he was supposed to have Jay Lethal on, and then they got into a fight, and he didn't come on, and Conrad didn't know what the fuck to do. It was the most uncomfortable episode I've listened to for 40 minutes. He's like, "Yeah, I didn't expect this episode to go."
Oh, so is that? That's who it is then.
What's this thing about him tweeting about Chris Jericho that I just saw? Like,
I
a
don't
little
know.
cryptic too, maybe.
Mm.
I don't know.
He's
But
throwing some heat out there.
Ric Flair's a piece of work, man. Conrad's got his work cut out for him. Can't wait to meet him, though. Devin, do you agree that Charlotte is it, or do you have a better answer? Thanks, Money Mike, by the way. I feel like Money Mike asked this question through Brian.
Honestly, I don't know. Sasha Banks is the only one that's been involved in movies. I mean, think about it. The other 2 are still in WWE. Sasha Banks is the only one that's branched out and is actually doing stuff in Hollywood now. And now we don't know what's going on with her and Naomi.
True.
So you're right. She's outside of the WWE, where Charlotte really. I mean, she's been in some M&M commercials, but they're usually on the show.
Yeah,
Cricket
I haven't seen them
Wireless.
at any other time.
And then one more. Are you? And I have my answer. Are you guys surprised Bayley didn't get the call up when the other 3 horsewomen did? Yeah. So all right. That's very quietly. Everybody's moving their
Yeah,
head.
gotta have
You're
the
listening
hug
to the
power.
podcast.
Gotta keep the whole hug power, with the kids.
I don't know the reason why she wasn't brought up, but it must have been
Because I
weird.
feel
for
like
her.
if they did bring her up, then there would literally be nobody left in NXT. So
And
that's
that's
what I feel.
you know who talks about that is Hunter or Triple H talks about that. He's like, basically Vince McMahon said, by the way, I'm taking like everybody with me. And he probably said, can you leave Bayley? You might be right about that. Because he basically took his women's division really, really quick there. Like three.
At once.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. All right. Thank God those are over. I asked for these questions and I don't know all about them. All right, Devin, you got like some kind of, somebody texted you 75 questions or something like that. Let's get 2, pal. You better pick them wisely.
All right. These questions come from my lifelong best friend, Ryan Besaw. I told him the matches we were doing past couple weeks, and he hasn't wanted to send matches. This one, he was like, "Oh, I love that match. I'll send questions for that one." So he sent like 6 of them. Brad says pick 2. Most of them we've already answered, but I think we could talk about this one. Why do you think Charlotte was added to the match when the fans really wanted Ronda versus Becky?
Name.
Go ahead, James.
Oh, just name, identification, like all that. get all three of them in there and have them do it. The poster.
That's what I
I
think
guess.
as well.
Yeah.
Also, though, I mean, she got both titles. Was it about making Becky even bigger with Becky 2 belts?
That's a
Could
good.
have been.
They didn't unify him, though. They didn't unify him. Mike, what do you think?
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I think it actually got-
Did they all just want to be in the main event?
they all just want to be in there. They had to throw Charlotte in there. Who else was she gonna wrestle in?
Well, yeah, maybe
anybody
Charlotte
else you could
demanded she
wrestle?
be in it, huh?
Yeah, true.
I guess you can't leave it out, Charlotte, with how important she's been to the Revolution. What do you think, Lindsay?
Right.
I agree. I think it's a name value. I think that if there wasn't a flair involved, I feel like maybe people wouldn't have tuned in too much more, even if it was Ronda. But I totally agree with the name value.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I mean, triple threats can be a little hard to watch. Someone lays down for a half hour, Oh, I'm so hurt. Not in the
They're on
regular
the
match.
outside of the ring, like barely peeking up over the ring, and you just see their head just like popping up at the background.
And the best is when the crowd starts chanting like, "Oh, they're sleeping." That's the best part.
Yeah, you think they're like talking to each other in the Royal Rumble outside the ring? Like, how much fucking longer are we gonna do this? It's awful. But Devin, did you want to answer your own buddy's question there? Or?
Yeah, honestly, I think the same thing. It's the name recognition, flair in the main event.
Yeah, I agree.
And so another question from Ryan. Do you think WWE has dropped the ball not returning to the Becky versus Ronda feud since Ronda's return?
I think we kind of answered. I might have mentioned this a little bit, that it's very strange that the way that match ended at WrestleMania, that they didn't build on her coming back and face. I mean, I think we were all shocked when it ended up being her and Charlotte.
Yeah.
I mean, if you listen to any of the shows that we listened to, or if we listen to Busted Open at all, everybody thought this was building towards Becky and Ronda. And then they swerved us and went to Charlotte. I don't know if it's a face heel thing or what. I'm not sure, but I was shocked.
Yeah, I don't like it. It makes no sense unless they're unless they're buttering it up for next year, I
And they
don't
could
know.
be building towards something, James. You're right. They could be building towards a better main event. Let it play out.
Right.
Mike, what are you thinking of that?
You already asked me, didn't you?
What?
What was the question?
You think they should have? You think they should go to the Becky Ronda feud when she came back instead of her and somebody else?
Oh yeah, I think they should have went with Becky on. But wasn't Becky out then?
No.
Okay, so yeah, so then they could. I thought she was out. That's right before she came back from having the baby.
What do you think, Lindsay? Same thing?
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, I was surprised.
All right.
Tell your friend I said thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. He'll be listening. So.
All right, now Lindsay's doing that thing where she's talking to her kids, so I guess we got to move it along.
Well, she's flipping out because she can't find her retainer, and
You know
like
what?
it's not that big of a deal right this second.
We had the same nonsense last week with Amy, who talked for quite a while, which we were happy about, but then left early. That's a bunch of crap.
Aw.
She extended the show.
Right.
All good. What do we got next, James?
Are we ready to empower?
Yeah, let's talk about that, Devin.
All
Kick it
right.
out to Devin for a little, empowering, insight. So, Devin, take it away.
So this is the NWA's Empower pay-per-view. This is their first ever all-women pay-per-view. This took place in the Chase Park Plaza in the Chase Ballroom in St. Louis, Missouri. NWA co-partnered with AEW, Impact Wrestling, and AAA. There was a lot of women's matches on this tournament, or on this pay-per-view. I just want to cover a few of them. Camille defended the NWA's Women's Championship against AEW's Layla Hirsch. Impact Wrestling Women's Champion Deonna Purrazzo retained her title against the living legend Melina Perez. My favorite women's wrestler, Paola Blaze, she defeated who is currently the NWA Tag Team Champion, Kenzie Page. Sky Blue defeated Christy James in a singles match. Diamante won a all 3 promotion triple threat match between her, Smiley Kylie Ray, and Cheek Toramonte. The Hex, Allison Kay and Marty Bell won the NWA's first ever women's tag team championships. And they actually were in a tournament. The tournament ended with them two, Allison Kay and Marty Bell, defeating Kylan King and Red Velvet from AEW. And the main event was Chelsea Green. She won a 10 women's gauntlet match to become the first ever women's NWA Invitational Cup winner. And also on this same pay-per-view, there was a big tribute to Jazz, where Jazz and her husband Rodney Mack came out and spoke for a while. Jazz officially retired on that pay-per-view and announced that she's working now backstage for the NWA. This was one of my favorite pay-per-views. It was in August. It was at August 28th, 2021. And I remember ordering it. It was a really good pay-per-view.
And also Mickey James being very involved in it, correct?
Yes. There was actually quite a few big agents for the show. Mickey James, she was the host of the entire show. Jazz helped backstage. Gail Kim, Lufisto, and Medusa. They were all agents for this pay-per-view.
And I will say this: someone we have not mentioned in Women's Revolution who has been absolutely tremendous. And if you're not watching Impact at home, if there's a reason to tune in, it's for Deonna Purrazzo. She was like the new belt collector, if you know what I mean. Like kind of like Omega was there for a while, and now FTR is with the tag team belts. And she's fantastic. So anyway, thank you so much for that, Devin.
Yeah, of course.
Nice to get a little NWA flavor. I knew you love doing it.
I do. That's my show. Got Trevor Murdoch right here.
What a gig you got there, huh? What a surprise you were picked to do that.
Yeah.
Now, awesome, man. Thank you. Really, it's important to the Revolution to know that there was more than one organization besides WWE. I know we talked about Impact tonight. I know we talked about AEW tonight. And I know we talked about, of course, WWE. You're always going to talk about them. But, NWA. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Do you sit around with your cats and watch NWA?
At 6:05 every Tuesday. All 7 of them. They'll hop up on the couch.
Devin has 7 cats.
I do.
And guess what? He's got his fiance living there and a woman roommate. A lot going on. You know what?
Is it Dave's company in your house?
It's a fun time.
A lot of pussy in there. Had to say it. Sorry. It was too easy. I've been waiting all week.
Come and knock on our door. There it is.
Little Jack Tripper action.
Little some type of action going on in that little menage a trois cat lady, experience.
I know it says remaining topics here, James, Adam, and Coach, but they're not here. And I know I don't think Devin did his.
I got a topic. I got a Devin's demographic. I got whatever we want.
We do it all together. All right, 2 of them.
All right. I'll combine them. So I'll just for my Devin's demographic of the week. I want to know your guys' opinions on the quarterback of the New York Jets, Zach Wilson.
That is not what you wrote down.
Apparently, him and his fiance have now broken up because he slept with one of his best friend's mothers.
No, his mom's
Nice.
His mom's friend is what it is.
His mom's friend. Okay, still.
Hey, while they were together, did this happen?
He cheated on his fiance with his mom's friend.
Oh my.
While playing at BYU, man, he was cougar hunting while playing for the BYU Cougars. In a Mormon school of all things.
Bring your own cougar.
Awesome. This is awesome.
I'm speechless. I don't know what to say to that. That's just,
Zach Wilson has a lot of my respect now.
There's players and there's that, Jeez.
There's players and then there's players.
Thank you for bringing that demographic to me like that. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's good shit, pal.
Thanks.
From the guy that's doing it, if you know what I mean. Good shit, pal. Anyway.
Hey, you know what goes really good with football? Food. So what's up on tap, Mike?
Well, what about some burgers?
Okay.
We're talking about football. So I'm gonna do a black bear burger. You get yourself about 2 pounds of ground up bear meat. Get that stuff put off to the side. You want to saute some onions, use butter, minced garlic. I throw some diced jalapenos in there. Cook them real good. Get them nice and ready. Throw that into the meat before you cook it. Add some of your seasoning. Sometimes I like to throw a little bit of pork in there, a little bit of wild hog, maybe about quarter of a pound or so, and an egg. Mix it up. Get your hamburgers nice and good. Put them on the grill. If you do cook it on the grill, you want to make sure you have something underneath it because bear meat is very greasy when it cooks. So if you have it on top of that grill, it could start a fire. So be careful with that. You don't want to burn them too much. But you do have to cook the bear well done. So about 165 in entire temp. Cook those, bring them off, add your cheese or don't, depending on your arm or not. Maybe some bacon, all your toppings, and you're good to go.
Let me ask you a question, Mike. Where the fuck am I getting bear meat at?
I can send you some.
Can you please? How does that exactly get shipped?
I guess in a box. I don't know.
Listen, I had bear meat. I'm just kidding around with you, of course, but I had bear meat once. It is good. It's just like deer meat to me. I mean, venison. It was very similar to me. Do you feel the same way? Maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit more. It's a lot greasier. So you just have to be able to cook it right, depending on how you do it. Like if you do a roast, I like doing roasting them. Make sure you boil it a couple times. It brings some of that grease out of there. But with hamburgers, it kind of flavors it up. So,
Lindsey, would you ever eat bear meat?
I mean, I'm not opposed. I like deer meat. That's a great color. I'm fine.
Great answer. Thank you so much for. I get people in this house, my house. They don't want any part of it. Like a cow is not as mean as a deer. Or back and forth. Like, get the hell out of here. They just eat it. I get so irritated with that. Like, little piggies are cute too. We all have
They're also delicious.
And they also taste good.
Yeah. Like what is this with the deer that everybody gets so worked up about? And definitely not a bear. I'm hungry for a bear. And by the way, Devin, for your day, go ahead, say it. 9 years with your girlfriend. We got it, pal. Is that what it is?
That's what my original Devin's demographic was. But then I realized that we're recording the day after, so this ain't coming out till like a week after.
You're not married, all right? And you're not. And by the way, you're not getting married this year. Lindsey, this is why he's not going to Top Guy Weekend.
Really?
I'm not a top guy either.
Yeah, but we all offered him our bullshit. I was giving my wristband, but you know what? Because he's getting married in 2023, not January, by the way, not January. We're talking like, what is it, September or October?
October.
Yeah, of 2023. He can't go to Top Guy this year in 2022. What? I think I could get you a wristband. I think Coach was going to give your girlfriend a wristband or fiance. Asshole.
Hell, we could probably get the roommate and all damn 7 cats wristbands too.
I mean, yeah, too bad. I mean, yes, you'd have to sleep in a cot in my room and no hanky panky.
That's what it was.
Anyway, Lindsey, you had something to say? I feel like you were about to talk and I just wouldn't shut up. What is it?
No.
That's cool.
I want to add on Mike's meat minute. I've never had bear meat. That sounds pretty good.
I had it once.
Real good.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
I
Have
love
you
it.
guys ever had like a beef tongue or a cow tongue?
Oh.
Tongue
No.
sounds weird.
Pretty good.
Chow chow.
So
I
I'm
love chow chow.
Hispanic. My father's mother, it lives currently in Nicaragua. So that's obviously where my father's from. And she can cook the best cow tongues. Like, it's perfect. I love it.
I've had it
what?
once.
I had some kangaroo jerky this weekend. You know what it tasted like? Beef jerky.
I've had that and alligator jerky.
Yeah, it all tastes exactly the same, doesn't it? All of it.
It does.
I don't know, man. Deer jerky's pretty bomb though. Deer jerky's really.
Oh, when you
bomb.
have that homemade stuff from people, yeah, that do it right. Yeah, that's fine. I'm talking about going to like the jerky outlet. Yeah.
Hey, whatever you do in your free time, Brad, you don't need to tell us about old jerky.
$12
outlet.
hot sauce and everything like that. Anyway, let me get my beer bottles out of here. At least one of us is drinking tonight, right?
Yeah, right? Did you hit your 3 limit?
Yeah, I do. I actually have a 4th here. I put a lime in a Miller Lite. Oh, fruit and beer.
Right.
All right.
Lindsey,
Philly
what's your
special.
go-to drink? You a drinker?
Me?
Yeah.
So I used to be pretty heavy, and then I was like, you know what, I might need to stop. So I don't really drink too much anymore. But honestly, if it doesn't taste good, I'm not going to drink it now. So I'm more of like a white wine person. Every once in a
There you
while.
go.
My favorite wine comes in a little can, and it's perfect. One can, I'm fine.
Are you going to Top Hat Week?
Am I going? Yes, I'm definitely going. Nothing could stop me from going.
Well, hopefully you'll have a couple drinks with us there. All right. With the crew.
Hopefully.
In a
Couple
tent.
hundred.
In a tent, by the way.
Yep.
All right. Let's, I mean, we're just bullshitting now. Like,
your eye.
around our house. So if you want to end this, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I think speaking of tents, I believe we've covered everything we need to for this episode. Lindsey, want to thank you for being on with us. This is a blast. You're definitely gonna have to come back. I can give you the floor if there's any, tell people how to reach you, tell people what you're up to, any of that.
Sure, yeah. So you can find me on Twitter. I am at +_Lindsey with an E. Don't forget the E. Just basically anywhere where you can find cupcakes, that's probably where you'll find me. So yeah, if you're local to the Baltimore region, then reach out to Elizabeth's Baby Cake, and I will definitely hook you up.
Nice. And hey, the cupcakes are over, for sure.
Yes, they are. I got the shirt.
But I appreciate that. And as usual, I am James L. Corai. You can reach me at wherever you want to. And, the Twitter, Facebook, stuff like that. Kick it over to Brad. Brad, give the people your shits.
Hey, I'm Brad at YesManBrad on Twitter. Lindsey, thanks so much for joining us tonight. It was a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed looking at your pictures of, like, you call yourself Lindsey +1, and there's the 2 pictures of you. That's really cool. Really a lot of fun. Next week, I'm just gonna go right into it, James. We don't know what we're doing. So by the time you see this, it will already know. We do this every week. I talk like you don't know, but it's already been out. So we're done with our women's series for now. There might be something coming up in the future. I just want to say to all of you, and Coach and Adam and Amy, Lindsey, and of course, Brandy, this has been a lot of fun. This 5-part series, we didn't know where it was going to go. We didn't know. We're not historians. I would like to think we really did this justice. I hope everybody at home really enjoyed it as well. And again, we don't know what we're doing next week, but we really enjoy doing this series. So thank you everyone for listening. And that's it.
All right. Thank you, Brad. I do want to equal that sentiment too. When it was announced to me that we were taking this deep dive, I definitely was in the shallow end per se, but it's been enlightening for sure. But enough about that. Devin, let the people know where they can reach you at.
I'm Devin Dowling. You can catch me at DevinD19 on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Speaking of TikTok, go check out our TikTok at Kick Out Crew Podcast. This is for you, Coach Rosie's son, who's apparently been checking our TikTok every single day. I'm getting notifications.
Nice.
So everyone else, go check out our TikTok. We have content upload now.
That's what's up. Well, thank you, Devin. Mike, main event Mike. Mike's Money Meat Minute. Damn it, I had it in my head. But yeah.
Anyways, I'm Mike. You can find me at Whitaker1020 on Twitter. If you guys have a recipe you guys want me to throw out here, shoot me a message. We'll get it done. And I want to thank Lindsey for coming out here. Thank you again. And Amy and Brandy, thank you guys. And I had fun with this. Like I said, I was kind of like James. I was excited to do it, a little nervous. Didn't know where it was going to go. It turned into 1 part to 2 parts to 5 parts. So, here we are. And, we might have a couple more episodes down the road, but I definitely had a lot of fun doing this.
For sure. Well, from all of us at the Kickout Crew, that is at Kickout Crew on Twitter, we thank you for joining us, episode 13. Always a pleasure recording with everyone. Lindsey, thank you again. And for all of those who have some tough times in their life, always remember to kick out at 2, because that's what we do. We're the Kickout Crew. So thank you for that, and everybody have a good week.
Peace.
Brother.